got nothing to lose, but you could gain energy, muscle, drive, even more passion. Text HOT to 369-369. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HOT to 369-369. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station. 710 ESPN.
Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Wednesday. And here we go. It is Wednesday from Rams training camp. I believe day 6. Could be day 7. I'm not completely sure. You know, when you get in that camp mood, it can run together. We are live from Loyola Marymount University, LMU, the practice field for Rams training camp. Travis Rogers, who's part, of course, of the Rams broadcast team, Rams pre, post, and half, which you hear here on 710 ESPN. And producer Emily is there. I mentioned her second because she's also part of the Rams broadcast team. But last but never least, it is Alan Sliwa's first day at Rams training camp today. Will he get in a 40-yard dash? Or maybe a wind sprint? Or maybe he'll get tackled by somebody. You never know. The fun and frivolity begins. Let's do it. A Wednesday morning live from Rams training camp on your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, the Travis and Sliwa Show right now.
Yeah, that is right. I think this is the first time that you and I, Al, have been at Rams training camp together. Emily and I have done it a handful of times. Of course, you just heard Chris say we're part of the Rams broadcast show, but I think this is the first time you and I have been at Rams camp together.
I think you're right.
Where have you been?
Well, here's the thing. Rams kicked me out. Years ago, they kicked me out.
Blacklisted?
Yeah, they did. And part of that reason was that day that we were out there at SoFi, I just kept trying to kick field goals.
You did
get
make
this
one.
guy out of here.
You
get
made
this
one.
guy out of here. Yeah, it's been a while. So first time at LMU as well. Nice to be here. We should just do this every Wednesday.
It's nice to be outside.
Yeah.
It's nice to be. I don't know if I need to do. I've come to the conclusion that I'm an overcast man. That's for sure. The sunshine is fine in like 5-minute increments, and then I need it to go behind a cloud again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a sunny sort of guy.
Being in Pasadena where it's 118.
It's hot.
This is paradise right here.
No, this is not. It's not hot, but it's just you know how it goes. I'd like it to be 73 and slightly cloudy. That's all I'm asking for every day for the rest of my life. Is that a lot to ask for?
Hey, you don't do AC at night.
Well, I don't do AC very often because we've got issues in the Rogers household
for other reasons.
Yes.
But you have a fan on you the entire night?
I do. I have one of those little teeny ones that's right by my
Small
bedside.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally about like that.
But that small, you almost have to like hug it. Like
it's very close to my face. It's right on the table next to my side of the bed. Susan has one on her side of the bed. So it basically, I have it angled so when I put myself into the proper position, it kind of ricochets off my face onto my chest, and then I'm relatively pleasant. Relatively.
I guess that's where I was going. I thought, I feel like
and a ceiling fan, of course.
I feel like you need if you got the ceiling fan, you're fine then.
Yeah.
Because if you just had that little fan.
No. There's the ceiling fans going too, and the windows are open.
I think you need the full fan. You know,
I
like
need
the
a full body fan.
The 4-footer.
I'm going to get one of those things that you have at like the airport that sucks all the hot air out. I'm going to get one of those going on. Roars to you, Em.
Roars. I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
About fans or not about?
Not about fans.
Okay.
Am I a bad person?
Yes.
For this specific scenario. So I babysit some girls in the afternoons, and I do kind of like the afternoon care, a couple hours, just to kind of help the parents out at the end of the day. And so one of the girls is 8 years old, and she's a gymnast. So she loves gymnastics, big fan. And so each time I go, she always wants to give me Olympic updates. She's excited about what's happening in the Olympics. She is excited to see Simone Biles and all her...
An aspiring Mike Tirico.
Yeah, exactly. So I go yesterday, and I tried to tiptoe, be like, hey, did you watch any Olympics today? Before I arrive. And I was arriving about like 3 o'clock. And she says... a little bit. We watched a little bit of Olympics, and I wanted to get more, so like I don't spoil what happened.
Sure,
I was like, did you watch gymnastics today? And she's like, no. But it's like I want to be able to talk with her about it.
Excited.
And then I like it's funny because I wanted to be able to talk about the win and everything, but I was just like, it's exciting this afternoon. So am I a bad person for even giving a little bit of a like? For the Olympics, because it's delayed. If you want to watch it in prime time in the United States, it's later than when it actually live happens. Do you have to avoid spoilers for everybody in your life? Or can you talk about it?
No. I think the scenario that you just laid out, you're not a bad guy. Now, had you said that to an adult, you're a bad guy. A child doesn't understand what you're talking about,
right,
I don't
exactly.
think. Like, if you say, oh, it's really exciting, that could mean anything to a kid.
Yeah.
If you say that to an adult, I think it means something very specific. And then, like, oh, so we won. Right? Like, it's kind of like what I did to Better Call Saul with you.
Just give me, don't.
If you say, oh, it's a great episode, something really cool happens, even though you didn't give the detail, you're waiting for the really cool thing the entire time. And the closer you get to it, the more likely
How old you say the...
She's 8.
She's 8?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, why do you have to say that?
Why do I have to say what?
Why do you have to tell her something? It's going to be really exciting.
Because it's exciting regardless of what happens. It's the
And you're
Olympics.
trying
It's
to
always
connect.
exciting. Yeah.
I would
trying to connect with the kid.
Yes.
If you just say to the kid, I don't even know what to say, but if you just... Here's the problem, and it goes right back. Now,
Good
granted,
afternoon, young lady.
Now, granted,
Nice to meet you.
I'm not 8 years old, but you did Better Call Saul. We're in the final. I think it was the season finale. I think it was the show's ending.
No.
It was the
season
final
finale,
season, but it wasn't the season finale.
It was the break. So they had the season finale was split into two separate parts. There's the season
You're
finale,
right.
the
That's right.
ending of the first half of the season.
Yes.
And Trav gave... Oh, it's crazy. You said something to the effect like something's coming, right?
Yeah.
Like something crazy's coming.
I think it was something along that, man, I didn't see that happening. Something like
And
that.
then we're like 55 minutes into a 1 hour show, and 5 minutes left. I'm like, nothing crazy has happened.
Well, here's the
so
thing.
I'm just sitting there like something crazy is about to happen.
This is why this is mostly your fault. Let me explain. I think it's the only time you actually ever listened to me. That it's the one thing that kind of landed, and you're like, oh, okay. So that you went into that episode.
Every once in a while, I listen.
Okay, but the thing is with
Once
spoiler
every
culture,
3 years.
spoiler culture has so many different rules for whatever you're watching. Okay, so Greg got mad that I was talking about Presumed Innocent. Again, a movie in 1990, a book in 1988, and then now a TV show that had 8 weeks to get caught up, and that he doesn't want anything spoiled for him, that he's going to watch it in 4 months. I feel like I'm not going to spoil it for him, but if I end up talking about it around him, I feel like it's not the end of the world. But, for example, so House of the Dragons finale is this Sunday. I'm a huge fan, and I also read the book. So I kind of know, I think, what's going to happen in this episode. But the episode was leaked online. And so people were like, oh, protect it, everybody for
Really?
this. Yeah, it was leaked online.
HBO can't love that.
Nope, definitely not.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I don't know, like, if I happen to see it, I am not going to be shocked about what happens. I know what's going to happen likely in this episode unless they change something, which they have changed some things.
Jorge, why did you leak it?
Yeah, come on, Jorge.
Man,
Maybe they know a guy.
I'm just saying, you know people.
You probably already have access to it, right? Yeah.
Jorge watched the finale a month and a half ago.
He was on set while they were shooting it. He just recorded it with his phone.
But I saw Espanol, that's the difference.
Why is Jorge's camera shaking?
Yeah, but obviously I'm not going to spoil the ending of House of the Dragons this season, at least for anybody, because it's going to be interesting.
I understand. Nobody likes spoilers. I get it. Nobody likes it, but we live in a world where everything is instantaneous, and if you want to avoid something, it's on you to avoid it. Now, if somebody just comes up and says, Darth Vader's Luke's dad, like you can't avoid that.
And
right?
I'll take coffee.
But if you're just like if something's coming out and you really want to see it, it's kind of on you to avoid any, which is virtually impossible to do. Or you need to see it relatively quickly to avoid.
Well, here's the impossible. Those that don't watch a live sporting event and are telling you. Like, I have an uncle of mine that will not watch an event, just whatever the case is, right? And then he's, like, telling everybody, don't tell me what happened in this game. I'm like...
Because he recorded it or something?
Somebody's you're going to find...
Impossible.
If you open ESPN, the score is going to be there right in front of you. That one's impossible to do.
So one way to protect yourself, if you are someone who wants to avoid spoilers, you can go into your privacy setting on Twitter and say, hey, I want to avoid these words. You can put in a bunch of words, and it will filter out these words from your Twitter. Additionally, did you guys watch How I Met Your Mother? Anybody?
I did, yeah.
All right, so there is one episode, again, this is like dates the show, I guess, but there's one episode where the gang could not watch the Super Bowl. They just couldn't do it, and for some reason, and so then they eventually were like, hey, we're going to try to have a whole day where we have no idea what happened in the Super Bowl. They like blindfold themselves so they don't see like the paper. They cover their ears so they don't hear on the sidewalk. But eventually, again, spoiler for the show that came out in 2006
I was going to say,
or whatever.
The show's 20 years old now.
But they each one gets it spoiled, even though they tried so hard to avoid it. I think except for maybe one person, I haven't watched it in a minute. But again, that at that time was even hard, but without as prevalent of social media. So again, I think spoilers for sporting events, again, it's going to be all over your Twitter. I think
the Olympics are a perfect example of this too. They're ubiquitous. You can't. If you pick your phone up off of the desk and it lights up, there's going to be so-and-so won such and such. It's impossible not to see it.
Happening at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, it's
not like it's happening at 3 a.m. Pacific.
No, but even then, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you look at your phone, and it's this person won a gold medal in that event. It's like,
I watched every Lakers game 4 days later. Just
it's probably the best way to watch that Lakers season, quite frankly.
Come on, man.
It's
unnecessary.
Well, it was
unnecessary
what it was.
shot.
Am I wrong?
No, but
well, yeah. I mean, you weren't on the team. What does it matter to you? It's not like you missed jumpers and free throws.
Large investment.
You weren't Darvin Ham.
That was an investment.
Your job wasn't on the line. You weren't the one.
I'll take that job on the line with that contract.
You weren't the one that went 50 games without playing the right guys. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong.
Before we get into all the fun and frivolity that training camp has to offer, so I just saw this come across my feed from Adam Grosbard, who covers the Rams for OC Register. Mm-hmm. He says this: just saw left guard Jonah Jackson with a left arm in a sling.
Ooh.
Jackson is the Rams' big free agent acquisition this offseason. Left practice with trainers yesterday. I know Sean McVay said he wasn't sure yesterday as he walked off the field, so not a great sign for Jonah Jackson, but also maybe not the end of the world.
It's not, and look, I'm certainly not trying to downplay any of this stuff, but the fact of the matter is every team is going to deal with injuries in training camp. Sure. Every team is probably going to lose somebody that they had big plans for. And this is why depth matters as much as it does. This is why having optionality matters as much as it does. This is why not just having one good – and by the way, this is going to bring us right to what we're talking about for the most of the day today with the Dodgers and the Major League Baseball trading deadline. You're going to need more than one of a lot of things. And if Jonah Jackson, the left guard, okay, maybe you shuffle the deck. Maybe now all of a sudden Steve Avila slides back over. You put a different center in there. Maybe Joe Noteboom comes back in and plays that. You need to have some optionality in these things because it's going to happen to everybody.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're going to have these types of injuries, hopefully have them right now.
I think that's right.
Listen, of course.
Sure.
There are certain injuries that that's it. It's a wrap. The season-ending injury. But we always say this, and I think this is no different for the Rams. You get into training camp, you start the season. As the season progresses, hopefully your health is not a factor. But health does determine whether teams make the playoffs or they don't. Not uncommon.
CQI, Al, right? What JB talks about all the time. The coach quarterback injury. The CQI, the Rams have got the coach, they've got the quarterback, and the injury is up to the gods. The injury is up to fate. The injury is up to good luck or bad luck. And the year they won the Super Bowl, those five guys up front, they basically played every game. Whitworth missed a little time. Noteboom filled in. The year after that, when they went 5-12, they played like 68 guys on the offensive line. It's not super complicated. It's disappointing and it's hard to fill, but it's not complicated.
Yeah.
All right, so Major League Baseball trade line comes and goes yesterday. Dodgers made a bunch of moves. A lot of stuff that I read said Dodgers did about as well as they possibly could have done. I think this is a classic example of two things that can be true at the same time. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee live from LMU. It is Rams training camp on 710 ESPN.
710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app. This fall, the new home of the USC Trojans.
The new home of the USC Trojans.
The Trojans are back.
The USC Trojans play on LA's mega sports station.
That's right. USC football, USC men's basketball, and USC women's basketball are on 710 ESPN coming this fall.
710 ESPN, the new home of the USC Trojans.
Listen closely, because we have the ultimate teammate, ZipRecruiter, and you can try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/LA. Hiring the right candidate is hard. ZipRecruiter uses powerful matching technology to quickly find and send you the most qualified people, so it makes finding and hiring your next superstar much easier. This is why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within 1 day. So be like the 3.8 million businesses who have come to ZipRecruiter and sped up their hiring process. Try ZipRecruiter today for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/LA. That's ZipRecruiter.com/LA. One more time, ZipRecruiter.com/LA.
Rams fans, don't miss out on any of the action and catch every home game with 2024 season tickets. Watch the Rams go head-to-head with the Raiders, Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, and more at SoFi Stadium. We can't wait to see you back at the Rams house. To secure your season tickets, visit therams.com/2024. Again, that is therams.com/2024. Secure your season tickets and see you at the Rams house.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710.
You got 40 yards in you, Slee? We're sitting here looking at the football field. Take a look at where the goal line is, and then figure 40 yards from there at top speed.
I got a solid 15. I get to right there.
It's freshly manicured.
But think about this.
Yeah.
15, like we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
That's a long run.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm pulling something.
That's a long 15 is a long run. No way. You're throwing parts all over the place, right? I mean, hamstrings, kneecaps, ankle bones.
Done for.
Yeah, just like a car crash at Daytona. There's just pieces everywhere.
I'm no former NFL player like Kirk Morrison, you know?
Kirk, could you still do the 40? Yeah.
Oh, like no hesitation, man.
Well, I know you're not going to run it like you ran it at the combine.
We want to see it, Kirk? Come on.
Yeah, no, okay.
You got your
I think that
on?
gives us
These are athletes. You see the way he looked at you? He's like, you know who the hell I am?
No, look, they're different than the rest of us, Lee. They're different.
A little bit different.
That's been well established. Trade deadline comes and goes. Let's kind of go through this.
Yep.
Trade by trade, item by item, team by team. Start with the Dodgers. Start with Jack Flaherty. They get what is, I think, fair to say, they got the best pitcher that actually moved. Maybe not the best pitcher whose name came up, but they got the guy that actually is on a new team today that he was on yesterday. Who did the best there? I think that you can look at this, that the Dodgers got the best guy that actually moved yesterday. If you want to find the silver lining to the trade deadline from yesterday, of all the guys that moved on the mound, the Dodgers got the best starting pitcher.
So I think there's a couple things to look at. I think the question mark is still going to obviously be the health of the Los Angeles Dodgers, but you added a pitcher that will eat you up innings, will get you through the rest of the regular season, and I think, knock on wood, you're right about that, and I think that's completely fair, but I think what you just described, if the Dodgers had done nothing, you were dealing with a really awkward situation. Glasnow we saw last night. Clayton Kershaw, you're going to get a chance to see tonight in San Diego. But really the question marks, Gavin Stone kind of reaching a point of the season where there's curiosity of what's going to happen. I don't have to tell you about Walker Buehler, Bobby Miller, all these other youngsters that they have. I don't know how he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to be the difference of a long playoff run or not. But I think what you just said about adding a pitcher that can get you, I think in his 18 starts, 12 of them, he's gone over 6 innings.
Yep. He's been good.
He's been good.
He's been good.
Is he the best pitcher out there? Is he an ace coming into the Dodgers rotation? No, he's not, but I think a lot of teams would rather have him than not have him.
Yeah, this is a classic two things can be true at the same time. Are the Dodgers better today than they were yesterday because of the addition of Jack Flaherty? Yes. Does it change anything about the calculus of the postseason? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If he's the difference between you going to the World Series or not, I'd be stunned. Absolutely stunned. The difference to them going to the World Series or not is whether or not Tyler Glasnow is able to stay healthy and look like he looked mostly last night. He had one bad inning, but other than that, pretty good. The difference between them going to the World Series or not is whether or not Yamamoto comes back and looks like he did. The difference on whether or not they go to the World Series is if they can get their bullpen sorted out in some meaningful way. That Jack Flaherty being their third or fourth best guy in a playoff, that's not going to determine whether they go or not. It's going to help them to get to the finish line. It's going to take some of the pressure off of the bullpen. We've seen what their bullpen looks like over the last month or so. I think since Yamamoto went down, they have the 25th highest bullpen ERA in baseball. It's been dreadful.
Something crazy.
It's been really bad, and it's not complicated. Why? They pitch 6 innings every game. It's just you just can't cover that amount of time over and over and over again for a long period of time. But it was, do you need him for August? Yeah, you do. Do you need him for September? Yeah, you do. Is he the difference between them winning the World Series or not? I just don't see it. I just don't think that we're going to be sitting here in the middle of October saying, man, they got Flaherty going tonight. This is going to be awesome. I think it's, hey, Glasnow tonight, Yamamoto tonight, even Kershaw, I think at some point might be more interesting in those roles than a guy that has had a nice season. I don't think he's a difference maker. I think he's a problem solver for now.
Dodgers, we know what they did in the offseason, and they went out and made a significant amount of changes. Glasnow, Yamamoto, Teoscar Hernandez, they clearly went out, paid big money. Teoscar was a steal. I think everybody would agree with that. Paid big money to get a couple aces, and we know what's going on with Yamamoto. I think the question for the Dodgers is how much did the last 24 hours, or even let's call it the last few days, they were up against the competition of so many other teams. And not every team, I think you look at some of the names that were out there didn't move, and that's common at trade deadlines where there's names out there that you think, okay, that guy's definitely leaving and he doesn't go somewhere. Mm-hmm. You can pick the names that you want: Crochet, Blake Snell. There's other players that are out there. What do you think the Dodgers should have done different? Because the problem is they got to a point in the season where everyone was fighting for the same players. Is there something they could have done earlier? I'm going to give you an example, and I think this is an interesting one because it was a little bit unique. Before the season started, Dodgers and the Padres were actually on their way to Seoul, to South Korea.
Yep.
Dylan Cease, the Padres made a move for Dylan Cease early. Then they made a move probably 2 months before the trade deadline to go get Luis Arraez. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if – it sounds like that's more uncommon than common of how the Padres did it. How much of the Dodgers' offseason should they have been addressing certain things? How much of it was out of their hands? Because I think this last couple of days, if you're just looking at what they've done the last couple of days, it sounds like, from your perspective, a little bit underwhelming, but I don't know really what they could have done.
It's underwhelming, but for the reasons you said, it's not disappointing. Right? I think disappointment is a bunch of guys that you would love to have seen on the Dodgers are on different teams today. I don't think that's true.
Sure.
Right? Like it's a Randy Arozarena. Would I like to have seen him as a Dodger? Yeah, but is it the end of the world? No, not really.
Yeah.
And I think most of the guys that have moved in this situation in the last, call it 2 weeks, fall into that category. But I think you brought up the right point. It's not what did they do yesterday. It's not what did they do over the last 4 or 5 days. It's what did they do from basically the beginning of spring training to where we are right now. Dylan Cease wasn't on the Padres when the season started. He wasn't. They made a trade. They got him. He might be the best pitcher in the National League right now, or one of them. Corbin Burns was not on the Baltimore Orioles when we were getting started. The Orioles traded to go get him. These are two high-level guys that were clearly available, and it's not like the Dodgers didn't have question marks in their pitching staff. They did. Tyler Glasnow, before he'd thrown a pitch, was a question mark. Not because he's not any good. He's awesome. He's hurt all the time.
Injuries. Already, the amount of innings he pitches in a year.
All of it. We're already past that. Yamamoto, what the knock on him was, new league, small guy, pitched once a week in Japan. How's it going to translate to the big leagues? Well, what it translated to the big leagues was he pitched 2 months and he broke. Okay, so there was questions on him. Ohtani wasn't going to pitch. Kershaw's coming back from an injury. Bobby Miller's in his second year and looked like less than himself at the end.
Sure.
Walker Buehler's coming. These are not questions that popped up over the last 2 weeks. These are questions they had coming into the season. And I know they spent money and I know that they were aggressive, but I think that's the part where you really feel like you missed the boat. Not necessarily yesterday or the few days leading up to it. It's some of these guys that they clearly were moving. Burns moved. The Dodgers have had his name attached to them for a long time. Cease moved. And I didn't want them to sign Snell, but Snell was available. Jordan Montgomery was available. There were guys that are proven major league commodities that moved that didn't land here. All of the guys that the Dodgers went and did had big question marks. Literally, none of them were without at least some degree of, let's see how that goes. And all of them, Glasnow's missed time. Yamamoto's still down. Kershaw's pitched 1 game.
Yeah.
Miller in the minor leagues. Buehler never really came back in any meaningful way. The Julio thing blew up on them at the end of last season. Like, it's just all of the things, their entire pitching staff, if everything hit, it's the best pitching staff in baseball. Well, none of it really has hit to the degree that you were hoping for. And then you run into what you ran into yesterday, which is there aren't really anybody out there that can fix this right now. We're kind of stuck with what we have and hoping and crossing your fingers and knocking on wood that Yamamoto comes back, that Kershaw stays healthy, that Glasnow is able to get to the finish line. It's nothing but question marks going forward.
That's the risk they run into. Their risk is if a couple of these guys, look, Mookie Betts is going to eventually come back, and that's going to look completely. I mean, yesterday watching the game, it looked kind of comedy watching this game. It's like
that
lineup was where
it was a weird night.
It was a weird night, but you know that's not the Dodgers team that's going to be there in a month. Mookie will come back. Freddie Freeman obviously will come back. May even be back by this weekend. We'll see what happens. A little bit of positive news on Muncy that he could potentially come back as well. We'll see what happens there. But I think the question.
A lot of ifs.
A lot of ifs. And I think that's what you're running into with the Dodgers. You're saying, and I haven't even mentioned one pitcher. Like you mentioned some of the pitchers. Those are the bigger question marks. It's going to be more important for them to have not just arms there, but Yamamoto's got to look like Yamamoto you're hoping for, right? I think that's going to be the biggest thing for the Dodgers. That's the difference between them and every other competing team for a World Series. I don't know if anybody's got question marks like this. And the Dodgers still are the highest odds, the betting favorite to go win a World Series.
Makes no sense to me.
But the fact that you just said if like you literally, we're talking about 5-6 players. They don't need all of them to come back.
They need more than half of them to come back.
4 of them.
Yeah. I mean,
so I think that's the part that sticks out to me more than anything else is you're betting on timing and health. And that's they could be unbelievable by October 1st. They can still be beat up by October 1st. How do you know?
You don't. Nobody does. And I think one of the problems that they've created for themselves is starting to show up now, and I'm not sure that it fixes itself by the time we get to that October you're talking about. We'll do that next. It's coming up. It's Trav and Slee live from LMU. It is Rams training camp on 710 ESPN. And Next Gen. That is the official AC Heat and Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. Next Gen, best in the biz. Right now, we don't need Next Gen right out here right now because it's perfect outside, right? But it's going to be hot in the summer. It gets a little cool in the winter. You're going to want to make sure that your AC and your heater is running at its absolute best. And, of course, at Next Gen, they got you covered with all your plumbing issues as well, right? So if you've got that slow drain in your house, $88 drain cleaning. That's right, an $88 drain cleaning, and they're going to throw in a free plumbing camera inspection as well. But you got to call 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN, or you can go online at nextgenaaronplumbing.com to schedule your appointment today.
Steve.
Starting Monday, September 9th, there's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it means the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block begins an hour earlier. Even more live and local LA sports talk on 710 ESPN. The Travis and Sliwa Show will start at 9 a.m. Mason and Ireland move back to noon to 3, and Shinato and Cappy start the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., we are the destination for LA sports. It's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it begins Monday, September 9th.
Bladder dysfunction. These are surgical problems usually and require a more urgent visit to the emergency room rather than waiting to see the doctor. If none of these signs are present, it's safe to wait it out, rest for a few days, and seek medical care from your doctor within a week or so. Hope that helps. Keep stretching your back. If that doesn't get better in a week or 10 days, that's when it's time to seek the orthopedic specialist. Hope this keeps you on the field, and keep listening. We'll be back soon.
Keep listening for more on the road to recovery right here on 710 ESPN.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. Tired of wasting your money on testosterone booster products that just don't work? We don't blame you. That's why Nugenix Total T lets you try before you buy. Just text HOT to 369-369 to claim your complimentary sample. Why have millions of men already trusted Nugenix for a man-boosting increase in their testosterone levels? Well, nothing else is like it. It contains Tesnor, a key ingredient shown to work. Nugenix Total T boosts free and total testosterone levels to help you feel better at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand and #1 at GNC and #1 at Walmart. But don't take our word for it. Try before you buy. If it works, keep using it. If not, keep the sample. You've got nothing to lose, but you could gain energy, muscle, drive, even more passion. Text HOT to 369-369. Do it now. We'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HOT to 369-369. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710.
And the story you were saying during the break about your valet, this is why you, at all costs, avoid valet parking. Tell me what happened again. This is why I will walk 6 miles before I'll let somebody park my car.
By the way,
for
he's
me.
not lying.
So
I've seen him basically park. I don't even know where you came to LMU, but if there was valet here, you would have parked.
I'm parked at the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah. It's a brisk little walk to get here. So I go to a spin class, and it's at like a strip mall ish area. And so it gets pretty packed, and they have basically every parking spot is labeled as 20-minute only. If it's near the shops, it's a 20-minute only parking spot they will tow. So
And they do actually tow.
They do actually tow. And there's a little section that you can park for longer periods of time, but typically that's pretty full because not only is there the spin class studio, but there's also a Anytime Fitness next to it. So it's always pretty busy. So of people staying there for a long period of time. And so they have a section where you can drive up a very steep hill and then go park with valet. And so I've done it before in the past, but today, and it's one valet guy who's there all the time. But when I pull in, he's kind of looking over the edge of the parking garage, and he just kind of is like, park yourself. Basically, I was like, okay, sure. I pull into the spot.
Park yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And it gives me a little tag. It does not give me a tag. So my car is just parked there.
You're just up there.
Yeah, I just parked my own car, put it up there, and then, walked into my studio or whatever to do my class, come back out, he's gone, and there's no more valet. But it's like, why even have a valet? If one, it was free valet all the time, and two, if they're not even there for the end of spin classes. I don't know. It was just like,
are they trying to shoehorn people in, or like they're boxing people in? If somebody needs to get out, there needs to be a valet to move the other car.
I guess so, but I've never seen it that busy where they're boxing people in.
Yeah.
And he's never actually driven my car.
That's the worst valet I've ever heard in my life.
Exactly. He's just like pointing me to an open parking spot. I'm like,
that's not valet. That's pointing.
Exactly. I know what to do. So it's like I don't understand.
It's like I'm watching the game.
Yeah. It's like everywhere in LA
right
is like
there.
required to have a valet. I feel like at this point in time. But yeah, I don't know. I just had a weird experience.
You'll valet, won't you, Al?
I'd like to avoid valet.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a predicament where I can't really avoid it, or if she's wearing heels and doesn't want to walk 6.4 miles, then I'm going to valet the car. I don't feel good about it, but if I don't have a choice.
If there's no choice, it's fine. That's just the way that it goes. But if you're telling me if I hunt for 15 or 20 minutes for something else, I'm going to hunt.
15, 20 is a lot.
I know it is. I know.
Yeah,
it's a real amount of time. But I don't know. I feel that's one of those things, like I'll spend money on other stuff, but it's not really the way that I want to do it.
Fair.
So here's my hope. Here's my fear. Is Michael Kopech going to be able to fix this entire bullpen for the Dodgers? Because you saw it last night. You were watching the game. I was watching the game. The Dodger bullpen blew another game last night. They've blown a 5-run lead 3 times in the month of July. Okay, blew a 5-run lead in Detroit.
Last 13 games.
Blew a 5-run lead in Houston. Blew a 5-run lead last night. Dodgers get 5 runs in the first inning. I want to come back to that in a second. Don't score again the rest of the night. Tyler Glasnow was good. Pitched 7 innings, gave up 3 runs. Fine. Maybe in a playoff you're going to have to do a little bit better than that, but that's a pretty darn good outing. And then here comes Blake Trinan, and not only was he not good, Al, he was legitimately bad. And you and I have talked about Joe Davis. Excuse me, describes this on the telecast all the time with Oral, that he throws that video game pitch where it just goes sideways, both different directions. It's an impossible pitch to hit. Guys are finding their way to hitting him now. His velocity is down significantly. Alex Vezina comes in the 10th inning, is not good.
Yeah.
They can't get Evan Phillips into the game because they botched trying to go talk to Vezina. You can't make 2 trips in one batter, so they couldn't get the right-hander to go in.
By the way, how does Dave not know that?
They blew it. There's no other explanation other than they blew it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But this is where they find themselves. They didn't upgrade their bullpen in any meaningful way. They went out and got Michael Kopech, who walks a ton of guys. Joey Hirsch, who works here for the Rams, who's kind of our liaison for all the stuff we do. He's a White Sox fan. That makes one White Sox fan that I've met in my life. And he was talking about Kopech. He goes, he throws one pitch, and he doesn't throw it over the plate. And when he does throw it over the plate, it's down the middle, and it's 95, and that's like batting practice for major leaguers. He was like, you can have him, right? He's their bullpen help. Their Phillips looks spent, tired. Same thing with Vezina. Same thing with Trinan. Same thing with Hudson. Like maybe you get Kelly back. Maybe you get Gratterall back. And these guys are a little bit better. Yep. But they've been leaning on these guys for 2 months. They're out of gas. And usually once that's gone, that's gone. I don't even know if you pull off the gas a little bit over the next 2 months if they start to freshen up a little bit along the way. But their bullpen is a train wreck right now.
There's also something, and I think you notice this. Trinan, I've never looked at really and said, and I understand, he went through a stretch where he was just unhittable, right? When he gave up the walk-off homer to Bregman in Houston, this was over the weekend, Saturday night, he had a reaction that I'd never really seen before. He had kind of a reaction like, sometimes pitchers, they have a bad pitch reaction, and they just kind of walk away. He had a reaction like he knows he screwed up, but I'm not even talking about – it's like I almost feel like there was nothing he could do. That was his stuff. He had a reaction yesterday, Jackson Merrill hitting tying it up. By the way, 2 solo shots in the 9th inning. I mean, you screwed up once against Manny. By the way, the first pitch right down the middle. I don't really know what the pitch was. But
Machado's not going to miss that pitch.
Machado doesn't miss it. And then Merrill hits when he had kind of a very similar reaction. I don't know how much of it for a guy like Evan Phillips, for a guy like Vezina, and Vezina's been pretty good all season long.
He has.
And a guy like Blake Trinan, I don't know how much of it. For these guys, I never felt like there's a mental thing to them because their stuff has been so good. They've been so accustomed to dominating And Trinan, I feel like it's kind of a weird position to see him in. Does he look like he almost looks a little defeated now, at least over these last couple of games, giving up these home runs that he's given up that's cost the Dodgers games. I think what you said about, all right, well, let's just – you don't want to be putting this much on your bullpen shoulders. At the same time –
for so long. Like, you can do it for a week here or there. You can do it in the playoffs. You can lean on those guys like crazy because you have to. But to lean on them through all of May, all of June, all of July to where we are right now, and it's like you can't go to the well that often.
At the same time, it was a little bit – Dodgers went 9 innings without scoring.
Let's put a pin in that, exactly, because I think that's super important, and I want to come back to it. But going back to what you're talking about with Trinan and the body language and all that kind of stuff, let me ask you this, and I'll ask this to Dodger fans too, and you guys can weigh in on this if you'd like, 877-710-ESPN. When Suarez came in to pitch the 10th inning for the Padres last night, you think he was going to give up a hit? I sure didn't. I thought, okay, unless Teoscar gets a hit
Teoscar was the one. If somebody's going to get a hit off.
It was the only chance that Teoscar had was Teoscar to get a hit. He didn't happen. Outman, the game was over, and Suarez has kind of got that thing where I come in here and you don't have a chance. Dodger fans, do you feel that way when Blake Trinan comes into the game anymore? I don't.
Anymore, I like that. There was a point you used to.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, sure. Vezina, no. Phillips, no. Hudson, no. Like, can they? Sure. Are you like, okay, let's see what happens? Like, it's not like they're going to burn the stadium to the ground. They're not. It's not that, but it's not this, hey, the game's over. When some of these guys come, when Clase for the Guardians comes in, it's over. And you're not getting that guy. And I understand there are not a lot of those guys, but they had options along the way. And now, really, without exception, when these guys come in, it's like, buckle up and let's see what happens. The confidence has been not just lost in the fan. I think what you're talking about is that they're feeling it a little bit. It's more of a, I hope this works out, as opposed to, I know this is going to work out.
That's a good point. No, it's a good – and if there's one thing that we'll use the Padres as an example, they went out there and basically tried to – I forget the word Passan used, but he said it's as good of a bullpen that's out there in all of baseball. They built a wall. That's what he said. It's something along those lines. And you had said something that there are multiple areas the Dodgers have to improve on. And the bullpen really just started kind of coming up more in the last couple of weeks.
I think I'd say a month.
Okay, let's say a month.
Yeah.
That wasn't an area that you thought you had to worry about, and now clearly it's an issue. And a lot of that's just going to depend. Are they going to be taxed the way they have been? I mean, you go look at the Dodgers over the last – they're basically a 500 team over the course of the last
2 months.
2 months or so, something along those lines. And a lot of these games, and I know we mentioned we'll go back to the Dave Roberts portion of it as well, but last night was just sloppy.
Across the board.
The Dave Roberts.
Other than Glasnow, the game was sloppy across the board.
The Dave Roberts piece of it, of if you wanted to go to Evan Phillips, and I don't know if he didn't know the rule because he started walking up towards basically started walking to the ump right out the gate.
I just think he forgot. I think it was one of those where the umpire's probably like, hey,
things like that.
Where do you think you're going? And he probably went, oh, crap. Like, I think he knew, like, at that point, it's like, oh, right, he was just out there. I can't make a move right now.
But little things like that just – it's a
sloppy.
Bad look.
No, you're right.
Like, I don't feel like – I'm not saying that things like this don't happen, but things like that you don't expect to happen for the Dodgers. And yesterday you score 5 runs to start the game. You have Tyler Glasnow on the mound. I know that the Dodgers have a bunch of injuries everywhere. I completely understand that. But you take a 5-3 lead into the 9th inning. You blow that lead. You're in a position in the bottom of the 10th where you don't know a certain rule or whatever. It's a sloppy game.
They staked their best guy to a 5-0 lead, and they lost. That's a disaster. Their best guy was pitching. He had a 5-run lead, and they lost. That is a unequivocal failure on every level. It also doesn't matter a whole lot because of the guys that they were playing out there. So it's one of those weird things. But you brought it up a little bit, and we'll talk about this coming up a little bit later on. We got to ask Kirk coming up next. But I want to talk about the fact you mentioned it. Scored 5 runs in the first inning, and then just basically said, that should be enough. Like they don't that grind that. And again, they're playing so many weird guys right now. I get that's not the team they're going to have, but I do think there's culture. I do think there's an identity, and I didn't see either of those things happening yesterday. Kirk Morrison in the house, of course, part of the Rams broadcast team. Our 9th year together, Slee. Me and Kirk. How about that? 9 years.
Get him
We're gonna
pottery.
That's right. I owe him pottery, and what did we figure out for you?
Flowers/fresh fruit.
Fresh fruit. I'll get you anything but citrus. I know that's not that's not your jam. Ask Kirk coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Talk about
There's nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you have to
cross the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
Time, save money, and experience the 5-star service that made George Chevrolet Chevy's Dealer of the Year 6 years in a row. Take advantage of great offers during the Chevy Summer Drive event and take home a new 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT Crew Cab with $10,000 in total savings off MSRP. Visit them today or shop online at georgechevy.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Discount calculated off MSRP on select models. Offer ends 7/31/24. See dealer for details or call 866-949-4805.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Biana's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
And it is Travis and Sliwa. It's time, like we do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:45. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
So, of course, Wednesday's Ask Slees are an Ask a Celebrity Picker. In this case, one of the fiercest linebackers to ever play the game, Kirk Morrison, joining us as well. What part of the trade deadline did we leave out? You don't
the
leave
trade deadline.
Yeah.
No, not the trade deadline. Just watching the game yesterday.
Oh, which
was
part?
amazing. A team that just doesn't care. Like, the Padres have something over the Dodgers.
They do this year.
I don't think it was like last night you watch the game, and the thing that really jumps out to me, you know what jumps out to me? Is that, like, they went to the bottom of the ninth, and they really felt like we're going to win the game.
Yeah.
They were in the dugout like this. Here we go. Let's get
Yeah.
And then Machado hit that pop, and you guys tell me, when Machado hit that home run, you're like, oh, this is over. And they still had a 1-run lead. Did you really think that they're going to close that?
When Machado hit his,
you're like, oh, yeah.
This is very interesting all of a sudden. I didn't think they were going to win. But once Merrill hit his, that was a wrap.
But that dugout, that stadium,
they're fired up.
Okay, so Petco Park, everything. Like, it bounced. See, I love energy.
Sure.
Like that energy inside of Petco Park. And you're like, uh-oh.
They showed this a couple times. Jeremiah Estrada, he closes out the 8th inning. Close out the 8th? No, he closed out the top of the 9th.
And I think
they were behind, so they didn't use Suarez.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think what you just said, I don't know if you saw his lips.
Oh, yeah,
he
when
said,
he walked
go
to the
get
dugout.
a run.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We went
He
to the
says
dugout.
this to the dugout. Go get a couple runs, whatever it was. That's interesting. And I'm with you. When Manny hit his, I didn't think it was over. I was like, yeah, well, they're probably going to lose by 1 run.
Yeah.
But when Merrill hit
You weren't
his, I felt like it was
You weren't
done.
watching the same game because I'm watching the game, and before you give up a home run, what happens? You can get off the mound. You can walk around.
Yeah.
You can have a coach come out. You can take a lot of time. Not with that pitch clock. That pitch clock, get your butt right back on that mound.
I'll tell
you
you
don't have time to think. It's like,
I'll tell you what else. We can swing back to this. We can talk about this.
Sorry, I was venting.
No, you're right. You're right. And the Dodgers are getting in the habit of blowing leads, which is a very bad habit to get into. It becomes a habit.
Back of your mind.
It's one of these, I hope we win as opposed to I expect to win. And last night, that was a total hope to win situation.
Okay, before, Trav, you give your first Ask Kirk. Isn't this the originator? Isn't
it might be. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
This is how it started, right?
It started, yeah.
Morales told a story where it was something
Ask
like that.
Kirk.
Ask
Yes,
Kirk.
it was. Before Rams games.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, this is the original OG.
OG. Wow, you're bringing it back.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right. G-Fish 21. Is it time for the spork to make a comeback?
Wow, the spork.
Yeah, I have deep thoughts on the spork.
Did it ever leave?
I think it did leave.
Okay.
I haven't seen one in a while, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think it's time. You know why? Because I still pack my kids' lunches.
Okay.
And depending on what they have in the lunchbox, you have to pack the right utensil.
Okay.
So, like, I have a kid who doesn't – he's not doing well with the fork and rice.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm – so let's just picture it right quick, right?
Yeah.
You get a fork with rice, he's not getting a lot of rice on the fork.
Yep.
Takes a lot of attempts.
So he's a spoon guy right now.
All right.
Right? If he had a spork, he can get the best of both worlds, right?
No.
Or the worst of both worlds.
Why is the worst?
Useless in both versions.
Why?
Okay,
because he can do a fork.
No,
the spork you're able to stab. And
No, you're not.
Also, you're able to
You get a little stab
scoop
in.
with
The
a
tongs are
spoon.
this big.
What can you stab with a spork?
A piece of chicken.
No,
Yeah,
you can't.
little
I
chicken.
dare you.
Piece of chicken.
What you're going to end
broccoli.
up using
Little
is the
vegetable.
spoon part to get your little piece of chicken. You can't. Emily's exactly right.
No.
The
Using your
tines
hand.
on a spork are like a eighth of an inch long, and then as a spoon, it's a defective device too.
Yes.
Because
Scoop
when
a little skin to get a little stab
little bit.
in
you,
there.
little
when you
something in
try
there.
to get
Yeah,
into
it's a
the
little
corner
something.
of the bowl and you
Oh.
have those stupid little tines, you're leaving a little soup in there.
First
you're
off,
leaving a little
here's
rice
the
grain
bigger
in there.
problem is that whole industry makes very cheap utensils. That's the problem.
The only thing worse than a spork is, and old-time Dodger fans will know what I'm talking about. They used to sell, and I don't think they sell them anymore. They used to sell frozen carnation malts at Dodger Stadium.
Okay.
That they would pack in dry ice. Okay, and the guy would walk around the stadium selling frozen malts. They came out as hard as a brick. Okay, they were.
So you were
rock
basically-
It's
solid.
like the Mickey ice cream bars.
Yeah,
Are you talking about the tiny scooper?
It's a flat piece of wood.
Yeah, I know what you're
yes,
talking about.
Yeah. So first
Yeah.
of all, you're dealing with something that's as hard as a rock. So the only option is to leave it in the sun for 3 or 4 innings to let it
And then
melt a
soup
little
it.
bit.
Correct.
Or you got to go to Home Depot
Who
and
they-
get like a whole
A
kit.
jackhammer to break the thing apart, or you got to
Yeah.
wait. What 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 25-year-old guy
that's
can
funny.
wait for your ice cream to melt? So they give you this stupid little cardboard.
And it gives you splinters.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's the only thing worse than a sport.
And if the ice cream is, like you said, frozen solid, you stick it in there,
breaks.
it breaks.
Yes.
So now you got 2 pieces of this little wooden chipper.
You're right.
And you just throw it away.
I
And it
love
turns
that.
into a soup, like you said.
I
Just let it melt.
I love
That's
how
the
you
word.
got your. This is the situation your son was in. We all.
it's
all
still
felt
in.
certain
Trust
way.
me.
Okay.
He's a spooner.
Forks are useless.
Give him a real spoon and a fork, not a spork.
Copy,
Now I'm just wasting utensils now. All right, we're going.
copy a Dodger fan. We've had some discussions about this in the past about what streaming service you use for music.
Okay.
What's your go-to? What are you using? There's, obviously a ton of different options.
Right.
Amazon Music, Google. What do you use for music?
Apple.
Okay.
So I'm an Apple Music guy. Mixed in with a little Sirius because it's Kids Bop Radio in the car all day.
Oof.
So we're Kids Bopping.
Sorry, buddy.
I know, we're Kids Bopping. So I can tell you all the latest tracks, but I'm singing them from the Kids Bop version. So they not like us, but we don't use without the curse words.
What do they even say? Not like us.
Yeah, they not like us. They not like us.
That's what gets Kirk is the lyrics.
And it's the shrill children
It is.
singing.
What do they say instead of certified what?
I I don't even know.
Male?
Okay.
Certified male?
Maybe.
They just my kids like the A minor part.
Oh.
The A minor.
Yeah, which is even bad for kids too.
Hey, that's all.
Anyway.
That's their favorite part. There it is.
It is.
A
I've been seeing like images of people at like bar mitzvahs and stuff, and these like 12-year-old kids are singing all of Not Like Us, obviously trying to
when you
admit
know that
certain
song's
parts,
done.
but yeah.
That's when you know it's time to hang it up for that song.
It's
you got
still
one?
going.
Yeah, I got one. So this is from Porky. Shout out Porky. He asks,
What up,
"Who
Porky?
was your stinkiest teammate ever, collegiate or professional?"
Oh man, easy.
Put him on blast.
Easy.
Easy.
Talked about him yesterday, but again, and look, this is all love. Warren Sapp, by far.
Was it like a superstitious thing?
No.
Or did he just not know how to clean himself?
So,
Or was it strategic?
I don't want to gross you guys out.
No, go for it.
Yeah,
but
you're fine.
I think you've been around a guy like. Matter of fact, you've been around guys like this, Trav.
Yeah.
Guys who pack a dip.
Yeah.
Go ahead, they pack a little punch in there. Pack a little dipper. He, at his locker, would put a towel down on the floor
And spit.
and would just be in his briefs, and he would just sit there and hold conversation. And when that dip was packed up tight and he needed to spit, he didn't have a cup. He didn't have a bottle. It was just right there on the floor.
And how many times he missed the towel and it's just on the carpet?
So you walk up and you just see this chew all on the ground. You're like, what are we doing?
No, see,
that's-
here's the problem.
and
Warren
now it
Sapp's
just
a Hall
kinda
of
just-
Famer,
yeah.
so it's hard to tell him to knock it off. That when you're the best player on the team, you kind of do what you want, right?
Come on, man.
It-
So it just smelled like a tobacco farm over there.
I was a baseball player, Kirk. I had roommates that were baseball players, and if there weren't 10 cans of dip spit on our coffee table at every given time, something was going on in our house, like somebody's parents or something were coming over.
Spit cup.
It's the most disgusting habit in the world.
Have you ever accidentally almost drunk from a spit cup?
Thankfully, no, but I've seen
But
it
you've seen it happen, yeah.
a million times. Because
Think
you're
about it.
You're drinking
I
a
just
Coke.
got a shiver down my spine.
Thank you. See that?
Right? You're having lunch. You're drinking a Coke, right?
Yeah.
You're eating your sandwich. You're drinking your Coke. You set your Coke down. You walk away. You come back. There's 3 cans of Coke on the table. You think this is your can of Coke? It's not.
Spit cup.
It's not.
Spit can.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one for you, Kirk.
I'm gonna
Daniel
start spitting in
Tapia.
the studio.
Uh-huh.
When in college, who had the better tacos, San Diego or Tijuana?
Ooh. I would say I'm going to go Tijuana.
You're right.
Okay.
That's the right answer.
You know why? Because I think every time I was in Tijuana, I really wasn't Kirk. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yes.
With the legal drinking age of 18.
Okay.
El Kirk?
I was a little El Kirk. I was El Capitan. There we go. There you go, Em. Yeah, I was El Capitan. So I was El Captain Kirk. Yeah, so over in Mexico, and that's where I used to go hang out. We would go party, go chill.
Would you go a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but until you're age 21. And there's
He
levels.
had a place rented out there, too. He
there's-
was renting at a
there's
place on
levels.
campus and a place in TJ.
No, there's levels to San Diego State University. The original level.
I don't know if I want to know about this. I have a child at this university. Do I need to know the ins and outs of how often she's going to Mexico?
I think it's better now.
So there's like level 1 is like freshman year.
Yeah.
And you're more just going around to the dorm parties, house parties. That's level 1. Then you get to level 2 is, oh, we're 18. We can go down to Tijuana. You go to Tijuana, have a great time, have a couple of adult beverages. You feel like an adult.
Great
and then
food.
you start to grow and you go to level 3. Level 3 is you're right at the age of 2021, and you start to mosey on down to the beach. So now you go Pacific Beach.
That's where
and
she
so
ends
you start to grow up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You walk around like you're better than everybody. Oh, yeah, I'm going down to the beach bar.
Yep.
Catch me down at the beach.
Then you're 34 and you're
And then
still
34,
doing that,
yeah.
and you haven't graduated.
And then the final level is now going down to the downtown at the gas lamp. That's like the final level.
So
that's a good description.
I want to go back to something you just said. Slee.
Yeah.
The idea of being 30-something and
still doing it,
and still kind of living like a college person and not having like real responsibilities and just kind of floating through your life. Why didn't somebody tell me that was an option? Why didn't somebody say, "Hey, listen, you know what you could do? Just never do anything. Just barely scrape by every day. Have no responsibilities
Till you're 35.
Right. Well, apparently there's no end in sight. You can just keep doing it. I keep running these people like, it's like, what do you do? I'm doing this. Went to school a little bit. I might go to school over here. It's like, when does your life have to start? When does that happen? Why
Don't
did no
worry,
one
my
ever tell
friends
me
are
about
dating those guys, so they're.
But
they're out
you
and
didn't
about.
do it. You went
No,
out and
I
got a job. You went out and
all my
started
friends,
a career.
All my friends, my female friends, they are all very accomplished women, and they're dating guys like that. So
with no responsibilities, though.
Shut up.
Well, that's not
no
helping the
responsibility.
guys.
Just
The
chilling.
guys feel even more encouraged. They're like, well, I don't even have to get a
I
job.
got a girlfriend. I got a relationship.
By the
I'm
way,
out
Christopher
here doing my
Holmes has
thing.
sent us the LeBron of utensils.
Nope.
Got the
That's
spoon
better
on
than
one
the sport.
side, the fork on the other.
That's real dumb too, but it's better than a sport.
It's real dumb.
Yeah, it's better than a spork for sure. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Rams. Let's talk, Kirk, I have a question for you. Stick around for a second because I read something that Sean McVay said about the new kickoff rules that I think he's spot on about. We'll do that next. It's Travis Slee. Kirk's here with us too. We're live from LMU. It's Rams training camp on 710 ESPN.
Thanks for calling Discover.
Starting Monday, September 9th, there's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it means the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block begins an hour earlier. Even more live and local LA sports talk on 710 ESPN. The Travis and Sliwa Show will start at 9 a.m. Mason and Ireland move back to noon to 3, and Shidano and Cappy start the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., we are the destination for LA sports. It's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it begins Monday, September 9th.
For today, Total Wireless. We're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a good karma brands radio station.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710.
Kirk Morrison joining us here as well on the Trav and Slee Show.
Kirk, did you hear how heated Trav got right there?
What about just
got a little
It was a lot of old man talk, but I understand. You are a father of a couple
You
children.
don't live your life like that.
I don't. But it is it's everyone else's life. They'll make their ends meet.
Yeah, but the reason that you need to pull somebody along with you.
Yeah.
If you just sit there and do nothing, like a big bump on a log, on a big slug, and never contribute,
he's trying to
You can't take
every
single day.
Those are the people who are mad at LeBron bringing Bronny along, too, is by the way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those are the same people like, how could he do that?
Take.
No,
Hey,
like,
can you give a little bit? Nope, can't. But I'll take some more. I'll take a little bit from you. I'll take a little bit from you. Take.
Gotta want it.
There. Now
Gotta want it.
I feel better.
Feel better?
I feel better. I feel better. I remember as a kid, training camp, guys are out here 2 days, pads, smacking, hitting, doing all this stuff. We're just done, right?
Done.
Like we just got a couple of joint practices, and everything else is very, very strategic. We're going to put in some game plan stuff. We're going to work on some stuff. But that grueling camp day that I know you had to experience, and certainly people that came before you had to experience.
It's different now.
We done?
We're done. All the way done. And the reason why we're done is because the NFL has changed now. It's not the same. Like with 17 games over 18 weeks, soon to be 18 games over 20 weeks.
Is that a big deal?
It's coming. It's coming.
No, I know it's coming.
Yeah,
Is it as a player, is that a big deal?
I think it's a big deal. It's going to increase revenue.
2 buys?
You get 2 buys, increase the revenue. The contracts we're looking at now are going to be even more skyrocketed.
Yep.
The NFL, look, let's be honest. I think we all grew up on an NFL where you saw summer heat. It's supposed to make you tougher. Make you more masculine, bloody knuckles, and the sweat rolling down your face. And then all of a sudden, I realized that the Detroit Lions will play 17 games this year, Travis. 14 of them are indoors.
Wow.
Think about it. 14 of their games are indoors. So I've had coaches who would come up to me and be like, Kirk, this is what we got to do to be tougher. We want to be able to handle the heat, handle being out there on the field. This is our advantage. And think about it. The Rams play half their games indoors.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then they go to Arizona. They'll play the Cardinals. That game will be indoors.
Yep.
They'll play against the Detroit Lions. That game is indoors.
Mm-hmm.
So remember the whole myth of being in the heat and being tougher, it's now a myth. It's just about being, to your point, healthy.
Yeah.
Can I just get my guys to be healthy? The weather will be fine. That's not a factor anymore, unless you're playing in the AFC North, the NFC North. That's not a thing anymore. The thing is now, can I get my 53 guys to be healthy when that time comes?
Kirk, and I was just going to say, and I think what you're talking about, the game just evolving and changing and the mentality of the game. And look, the way you probably played the game, and even before you, I'm not telling you the game is not incredibly physical. Of course it is.
Yes, always.
The game's not the way it used to be.
No.
And by the way, I'm not against that. I don't need to see – the days of
there
that
was no
safety,
choice. The
days of the safety lining up a dude coming over the middle. I don't need to see his helmet get completely taken off and the guy's passed out. It's changed in a lot of different ways.
Devontae Adams calls those hospital balls, by the way.
That's
hospital
perfect.
balls.
That's perfect.
The ball that's thrown in the middle.
Too.
Yeah. The balls
About
that are
one
thrown.
of our quarterbacks on this team, maybe setting some up for that.
It was like, Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, he's thrown way too many hospital balls that if I catch it, I'm going to get hit and drilled into the hospital. The NFL has tried to change the rules, right? The helmet-to-helmet contact. They're doing this new thing, obviously, with the kickoff. I've said this. I cannot wait for tomorrow. We're almost 24 hours away for the eruption on Twitter, on X.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Hall of Fame game.
Yeah. Locally, 5:01 or 5:02 p.m.
Sure.
Pacific time, when everybody
gets to
watch it.
Yep.
And the outrage is going to happen on the internet tomorrow. I just want you to be ready, Slee.
What are they going to say? What are they going to say?
They're going to say, "Ugh, what's that, brother?" You remember that one? Like, ugh. What is that? That is not the football that we grew up watching, seeing guys line up like this and get ready for a kicker who's 30 yards behind you.
Yeah.
And then you got to kick it off and say, it's going to be more exciting. It's going to be
They might see a breakaway touchdown for all I know.
So here's here's what I'll read this from the LA Times. Does Sean McVay have a handle on the new rules? Joshua Carty, rookie Rams kicker, on practicing for the new NFL kickoff rule. Hell no, he joked. I think we're all figuring out. It will be crazy. I promise you that much. You've heard me say this.
Yeah.
Whoever figures it out first will have an advantage.
Correct.
Whoever figures out, hey, you know what? This is really hard to stop. And there's always somebody, the brotherly shove.
Yeah.
Right? There's always something that somebody gets. It's like, damn, we haven't figured out how to stop this yet. And somebody's really good at it. I think you're right. I think it's going to be weird because, like, what the hell is this? It's so different than anything we've seen. And somebody that's really smart / creative / risk, a risk taker.
Right. Yeah.
Is going to try something that's going to pop a few, like Emily said, and that's going to be the way that we do it. Now, I also think there's a real world where fast forward to July 31st, 2025, and we're sitting here and you'd be like, remember that thing we did last year?
Yeah.
That was nuts. I can't believe that was ever a thing.
Just how we had it. Remember the pass interference replay rule?
Yeah.
Because of the Rams. And
look, too close to
Roby
call.
Coleman.
Too close to
come
call.
on. Dude. They changed the rule. They made the NFL review pass interference. And it was such a bad situation.
Bad idea.
That the NFL was like, no, we can't do that. Remember, that was the whole thing. They were going to do it. They did it in preseason. And then they did it in the regular season. It always happens. But just always remember this, too. You can always kick the ball out of bounds. Team just get the ball at 30.
Yeah.
And so now we're just going to say, hey, look, I need my defense to be better. Because kickers are just going to kick the ball out
You think
of
some
bounds.
teams will do that?
Yes. I'm like, I don't even want to return. Why would I risk a return? If I've got a kicker who could just boot it out,
Sure.
I'll reward it. Instead of putting it on 25,
theory. Why?
they'll put it on a 30.
Okay, here's why. If I can get a kicker that can consistently drop that ball between the 5-yard line and the goal line, and I can consistently get you tackled inside the 20,
15, 20,
that's a 10-yard difference. That's a big advantage.
You get that ball in Tyreek Hill's hands, I don't care who's out there. That guy is faster than everybody else on the field, and I have more of a likability for him to score or put his team in a scoring position than kicking a ball out of the end
Kirk,
zone.
it's going to be situational, right? End of the first half, end of the game. You're basically kicking the. I don't want that person to have the ball in his hands. I'd rather just give it to them.
But if we get to the point where guys are just banging it out of the back of the end zone,
correct,
then why have a kickoff at all?
Exactly.
And is that?
By the way, that might be the evolution of it.
Maybe that. Then, but can we not skip a step and just say, okay, we're done
Here's
with
the ball
kickoffs?
at
If you want an onside here,
you get the fourth down,
fourth and 15 from your own 25. Go for it.
It's going to happen. That's why I can't wait to see it because we've been talking about it and you forgot about it, and then it's kind of came back up this week because everybody's going to training camp, and I've seen the practice of this drill, and I'm just like, I can't wait for everyone to see this new kickoff rule because it's just going to look like that is not what I grew up with.
You know what's going to look
like? And the outrage is going to be there.
And this is the biggest duh in the history. It's going to look like something from the XFL, which is exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that doesn't make it bad, but the XFL is the reason we have the spider cam. The XFL is they've brought some things to the league that are actually pretty innovative. I don't know about this one. Like I hope it's not just kicking it out of the back of the end zone because that would be
it just takes away. Yeah.
But if you get tell me you don't want to see Tyreek Hill try to do that.
Sure.
Tell me
Xavier Worthy, Deebo Samuel. Come on, man. If I'm the Rams, I see Deebo Samuel back there, and I'm up in a football game in the fourth quarter. I'm not kicking the Deebo Samuel. I'm kicking that ball so far at a SoFi. I don't mind them starting at the 30.
Can't get the ball.
What if there's a way to get Tutu Atwell in some space? I know he's not Deebo. He's not a big, strong, powerful guy like
and
that.
And he's expected to be the receiver for some of these.
He's super fast.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's super elusive. And quite frankly, they have not really found a way to uncork him as a wide receiver. That really hasn't happened for him. So why not see if there's a way to kind of get him going?
And then the downside to him in the past has been, he as a kick returner, is that, he is smaller than the other players and he might get hurt. And so now that they can't pick up the head of steam, then he can kind of be more evasive. So I want to see it. I think it'd be interesting. But also, you're not going to put, Blake Corum back there. You're not going to put Kyron Williams back there because you don't want them to get injured.
Sure. Kirk, we talked about this a couple weeks ago or so. Yeah. And if there's one thing that football has been able to do is there's an appetite every single week. And I get it. And I'm just talking about football in general. The NFL, every week you're looking forward. Baseball runs into, they play 162 games. Does this game really matter in July?
No, they need to cut it in half. Go ahead.
NBA
100.
NBA basketball. NBA basketball is kind of a similar situation.
50.
Right.
If the NFL went to 20 games,
correct.
A, do you think that's going to eventually happen? And B, are we in a spot where the NFL is, even if it goes to 20,
right,
that appetite's still going to be there? The difference between 16 at one point, 17 now, probably getting to 18 here pretty soon. Is there any concern of the NFL that, hey, we don't want to water this down too much?
No, 18 games are where it stops. I think what I've seen and the people I've talked to, the NFL wants to be like what we're seeing with Premier League soccer or English League soccer. They want to put at least every team have one game internationally. It's only going to increase viewership. People want to come. The game in Germany last year was the first time the NFL ever was in Germany. Those tickets were $400 or $500 a piece, and it sold out in 5 minutes. The NFL just wants to expand the. That's why we.
But you know how you can do that even easier, Kirk. More games.
Yeah, but
because here's the thing. Let's just use the Rams as an example.
Sure.
I got my 8 or 9 home games every year, depending on the split. And if you're telling me, well, I got to go do one in London, I got to do one in Rio, I got to do one in Mexico City, I got to do one in Montreal, I got to do one in Tokyo, or wherever the games are going to be played. How about this? Let's just play 20, and then I still have the same amount. I still get to pull from here because the next league that stops before they oversaturate it will be the first.
Correct.
It's always if you liked 14, cool. We're going to do 16.
Sure.
You guys like 16? How about 17? 17, nobody seems to turn the TV off yet. How about 18? And nobody's going to turn the TV off at 18 either. They're not going to stop.
Well, this is what happens. So the sweet spot is 20.
I'm not stopping.
So, Al, it is 20 games. But they're talking about it's 18 regular season and 2 preseason. It's always going to be 20 games.
Do you need the 2 preseason, Kirk? Because, look,
trust me, the owners want the 2 preseason.
But no, that's what I'm saying.
He's saying
you
is
still
take out the preseason
they all
and
count.
just do 20
We're just
regular.
going to play 20 games that count, like college does, like high school does. You don't have scrimmages in high school and college.
But I'll say the Players Association is going to say, can you expand the roster?
Okay.
So you got to expand the roster. Do owners want to expand the roster and start to give more money to players? That's an extra how many $1 million you're going to get. This is a owners versus players
and the
thing.
owners always win.
And they always win what they want. So
in the NFL,
they're going to cut the bottom line. It's like, all right, do we want to add more to our rosters or we keep it right where we are? 20 games. It'll be, I think, 2 preseason, 18 regular season when it gets there. But right now, we're good right now. 3 preseason games, 17 regular season games. You've got everybody's playing an international game.
Let's say
this is perfect right now.
Put your player hat on. Let's say you play, you have camp, just like we have now.
Correct.
And instead of Sunday night in Detroit, week 1. You have week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys a week from now, and it counts. Could you get ready without preseason games? Like, again, it's an equal playing field. Everybody's doing it the same way. Maybe you get a couple of games early in the season that are a little funky, but works. It's like, okay, you could do it, right?
Isn't that the same for every sport?
Right. Well,
the beginning is always funky, no matter what.
It's the same for USC right now. They don't give a preseason game, but yet week 1 they're going to be in Vegas taking on LSU.
Sure,
not because they want to. Not because they want to.
Well, look to a point where there is load management in football, where you can't have Patrick Mahomes do 18 games or 20 games or whatever. You're going to have Patrick Mahomes for 17 games, and so there's 3 games for the season that you're going to have your backup quarterback.
Well, that
play.
might be your saturation point. Because if I'm watching a Kansas City Chiefs
that's
game,
a great point, Al.
And I don't have Mahomes going in week 7 or week 10 or whatever week it is, I'm not viewing that game the same. That might reach your point for saturation.
It's a really interesting. Let's talk about this when we come back, because you might not view it the same. The question is, do you view it? Right. Yeah. That's the difference. I might not be as invested in this as I want, but am I looking at the beer commercials, and am I sitting in front of my TV? That's the question. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, live from LMU. It's Rams training camp on 710 ESPN.
And coming up around 11:30 this morning.
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball, so almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Godley.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
3 NEXGEN. Also, if you're concerned about air quality issues in your home or have allergy problems, this time of year, obviously in the summertime, air quality is not so great. Call them at 833-3NEXTGEN. What are you waiting for? Call them at 833-3NEXGEN or visit them online at nextgenairandplumbing.com to schedule your appointment today.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710.
Stands are full here at LMU. Players are getting ready to come out of here in just a couple of minutes. The kids lined up, get a little autographs. That's always a pretty good day when you're a little kid and you see like a real.
You know who gets a lot of love out here? Who gets a
Rampage?
Rampage.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
When pain keeps you from doing For orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital, at Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710.
Speaking of the devil, Rampage.
Yeah,
you say his name, and he starts to show up right away. He's right. So here's the thing. Rampage, I know that you don't talk, so this may be hard to figure out, but how did you get your own banners all over the LMU campus? Like everywhere I go, there's pictures of you.
Yeah.
I got you.
You're just that big?
He's Rampage.
He's Rampage.
I think he walked in and just paid cash for billboards out there. He's
money well spent, if that's what it was. Yeah. You look good. Yeah, you're good to see you, Rampage.
Yeah, looks just like you, Travis. He's getting a shake and swole.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what else? What's up, Rampage?
Rampage walks. He walks 10,000 steps a day. That's the key.
10,000 push-ups a day.
Yep. You know one thing I always noticed too, Travis, Slee, M. Guess what? You remember a couple years ago when the Rams had got these new uniforms, a new logo, and everybody was so upset. Why? What is this? We don't like it. You see what winning does?
Oh yeah.
You see what winning does?
Yeah.
Winning makes everything look special. Rampage, that's a nice outfit you got on. And because you're part of a winner, it just looks that much better, that much cooler. Think about it. Just put that out there because I can see the Clippers can have as many uniforms as they want.
Okay.
They can have
See,
as many.
they just went for the.
I know.
You just went for the deep cut, right out of the.
It was the right angle. It was the right angle to go to.
No,
some
it's
people
the
have
perfect
so many
example.
uniforms, and you're like, what's that?
Yeah.
No. But when you're winning, there's certain
helps.
uniforms that
winning
look
helps.
nice.
We still have your office set up at the your cube at the office, Rampage. So you're good to go. You're all set. Good to see you again, my friend. Go hang more banners of yourself all over the place. They look good. They look good. I'm not kidding. I'm walking in from our lot today, and look, there's Matthew Stafford. Oh, look, there's Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
Rampage.
No, that's
Rampage signs autographs too.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not? All right, so we were talking about the expanded schedule, which feels inevitable. That's going to come. If you continue to expand, and I feel, and Al's heard me talk about this, and I think I've kind of changed your mind a little bit. I don't know if I've gotten you all the way there, but I think I've gotten you partial the way there. Okay. I also think, Kirk, that we're going to get to a point where you're going to have football on every night of the week. I really do, because the pandemic kind of cracked that door open. Like, hey, can you play a game
Tuesday? Sure.
And people watched, and people were there for it. And the schedule was a little awkward, but it didn't blow the whole thing up. You still have Sundays. You still have plenty of all these things. So I do think we already have Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Saturdays covered. We just added Friday during the Thanksgiving week. And so we just got to cover Tuesdays and Wednesdays at this point. It's coming. So you're going to get more football. You're going to get more football on more days of the week. But if you had 20 games, let's say.
Oh, yeah. We'll have my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But we do have Wednesday this year. Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
Is on Wednesday.
So
you'll have a Wednesday game. I was like, I know we got a Wednesday game.
It's coming. And it's going to be. It's not going to be that you have a game every Tuesday or every Wednesday, but when the schedule allows, you'll have. You know what? Let's throw the Cowboys on Tuesday night and see how that pulls. It's going to happen. Hey, put the Rams on a Wednesday night in the middle of a. I don't even know if we have sweeps anymore, but this is a network needs a big event on this night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll put an NFL. Nothing draws like the NFL. Nothing. Yeah. So we're going to put these things all over the place. What if you get to a situation where, I don't know if load management is the right term, but you're using backups in very specific places, namely at quarterback and wide receiver and maybe some end guys, some edge guys, that the popular big name, the stat counting guys, those guys. I can't play. I'm going to play 16 games, 17 games, or whatever it is. And now instead of Patrick Mahomes on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you've got the backup.
And
you've got Carson Wentz going. And do we turn off the – I'm not. I'm still going to watch it. There's still fantasy.
Yeah.
There's
Correct.
still gambling.
Yeah.
The stadium's still going to be full. People aren't going to turn their season tickets in and not show up. It's still going to look like an NFL game. Travis Kelce could still play in that game. It's not like you're going to play all backups in these games. The opponent could have all of his real guys in there. It's almost like juggling a pitching staff. You got to figure out when to go here, when not to go there. It adds an element of strategy to it. It's different, but I don't think they're going to lose too many people.
They're not going to lose a lot of people, but they're going to lose some people. But it's the gambling aspect. That's why the NFL is the greatest at what they do in terms of injury designation. That's why you have throughout the week, is this guy, is he probable? Is he questionable?
Sure.
Right? Or is he doubtful? You'll know by Friday because you have to make a designation.
Yeah.
Is he doubtful? Is he questionable? Is he probable? Now, if Patrick Mahomes is not playing, he's got to be considered doubtful or out by Friday, so we know. Or if it's a game-time decision, gambling has impacted everything.
Of course.
And we see it in the NBA, how a line can change when we find out, LeBron's not playing tonight. That line drops like, you know what I mean, like the stock market. That's what's going to hold up the NFL from not allowing those types of things to happen.
Kirk, that's a perfect example because the NBA, and I get it, they play a lot of games.
Ain't no load management in the NFL, brother.
They play a lot of games. So
Right.
I do understand. And when you're asking, LeBron is the worst example because LeBron is 39 years old and he's about to turn 40. If the guy wants to take 10 games off, it's probably okay for him to take 10 days off. But one of the issues the NBA was running into was, and this was one of the rules that the NBA had, was, hey, in these big-time games, when we have you on some of these big-time we need your big players to play. You can't – I'm not telling you that the NFL is going to run into that, but that became a topic in the NBA. People were turned off. Michael Thompson, go listen to a Lakers radio broadcast, and he's calling a game, and he's saying, you know what really bums me out tonight? It bums me out that I can't see this player. Do you know this fan that traveled, whatever, from whatever part of the world, and they are in Atlanta, and they only get to see Anthony Davis one time a year, whatever the case. We'll have Steph Curry. I think the NBA did take some – it hurt the NBA. I don't know how it hurt them financially, but it definitely hurt them from a perception.
But that's all they care about.
What's
that?
The bottom line.
And the NBA, the NFL, they care about making money. They care about the owners doing better the year after, the year after, the year after, the year after.
But Adam Silver is addressing this as it was an issue in the NBA. Maybe it was hitting the bottom line.
They gave you the 65-game threshold that you got to play 65 games to be eligible for the
I think what happened
NBA,
is
all the awards, and that will be tied to what? Your contract. So guys are trying to force themselves, but there's no way.
The threshold, like to your point, that he did address it, and I think it wasn't because of fans. It's because of TV.
Yeah.
TNT, ESPN, they're going and saying, guys,
Amazon.
I just paid you how many billions,
Sure.
and these guys aren't showing up in the games. I can't sell my ads for what I need to. And so
the promo can't have Rui
How much did Amazon just
Hachimura.
pay?
Right. Huh?
How much did Amazon just pay?
Billions.
Billions.
I forget the exact dollar.
And that's why it didn't change anything really. And again, and I do think there's a major difference between 82 games and 20. And I understand football's different than basketball. The demands of the body are different.
You're already playing 4 days a week in the NBA.
Right. In football, if you're asking me, look, the Chiefs, they've been playing 19 games a year for a really long time now, right?
Okay.
They're going through it over and over and over again.
Yet they fans still won't buy them a stadium.
But you also mentioned this, NFL could play every day of the week, as well as they could add all these extra days. What if it gets to a point where, I know it's not exactly like apples to apples with the MLB, but how every pitcher is going down, but people are still going. But what if it's that every single quarterback or every single receiver goes down during the season?
Then they change it.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that, and, again, we're going to see it with the kickoff rule. We're going to see it with the Hawkeye thing that they're going to try during the preseason. I give the NFL, and the NBA is good at this too. Let's try it, and if it sucks, we'll roll it back. Right? You mentioned the pass interference review. They did it because an official really blew a call.
Correct.
Didn't bother me that much.
Didn't bother us at all.
Yeah, but they really blew a call, and they tried to address it. They tried to review PI, and then everyone went, yeah, this is actually way worse. The calls don't get blown nearly enough to do this. They can tweak it along the way. I think that the money is always going to drive it. The players and football players, I think, are wired differently than basketball players. They're going to want to play. The part of the culture of being a football player is I play no matter what, right? I go out there and I play. Baseball and basketball players are like, I need a day. And it's accepted.
Yeah.
Can you imagine walking into Al Davis's office and saying, "Al, I need a day"? You know what I mean? Like it's just not happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the culture of the sports being very different. Maybe the quality of play declines slightly, but
no,
I don't know. I don't know.
The NFL creates stars overnight. They do. That's the crazy part. When you create stars and you have a lot of people, like last year, Puka Nacua is now a star.
Perfect example.
Was not.
Sure.
We had last year, remember, we had to get a pronunciation guide to say, how do we say this guy's name? Yet now he's a second-team All-Pro. He's a new star. There's always stars in the waiting in the NFL. So if a guy gets hurt, here comes the next. Look, we're talking about Brock Purdy with the San Francisco 49ers. I see. Shout out to Ben.
Jorge
about
just
Purdy.
went, what?
Yeah, I know Jorge just.
Yeah.
But Brock Purdy, that kid was the last guy drafted, and yet he's probably going to be one of the richest guys. So you know what?
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. That's probably the best way to put it.
I'm about to go watch practice real quick. I'll be back.
All right.
I'll give you guys a couple seconds.
You go watch
I'm
practice.
Go watch practice.
We're going to do a little factor cap, which is coming up next. It's Travis Lee live from Rams training camp at LMU on 710 ESPN.
The biggest show on the radio.
That's Mason in Ireland.
Weekdays after Trav and Slee.
All right, let's go to Abdul. Abdul, you're on Sports Graffiti. Go ahead, Abdul.
Hey, you guys, I love you. Been listening to the show for 15 years, and I just want to say, Mason, you just don't bring it like you used to bring it anymore. And I'm just wondering, did you not drink your coffee this morning, or what's going on, man?
You think I'm not bringing it today?
Today, especially, but just in general. Over the past year, I feel like you just kind of coasted.
Wow, this call is going to rot in his head.
That is absolutely ridiculous, Abdul.
And I'm sure we won't use it for imaging at all. Abdul, what are you doing for the Mandy's next year?
I'm showing up and bringing Mason some coffee and some Energizer.
All right.
Hey, there you go.
Mason needs some coffee. I had 2 quad espressos today. I don't know what else I can do.
Steve Mason and John Ireland. Next at 1 p.m.
Mason in Ireland on 710 ESPN.
Rams fans, don't miss out on any of the action and catch every home game with 2024 season tickets. Watch the Rams go head-to-head with the Raiders, Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, and more at SoFi Stadium. We can't wait to see you back at the Rams house. To secure your season tickets, visit therams.com/2024. Again, that is therams.com/2024. Secure your season tickets and see you at the Rams house.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710. It is Travis and Sliwa. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Guys, and
I am. Aloha.
Aloha.
Players.
The players are just
Aloha.
about starting
Yeah.
to walk onto the field to start their walkthrough practice for today, and they'll
Factor
be
cap with us.
Yeah, they're just a factor cap. I'll ask them some questions. Also, the Team USA men's basketball should be starting off in about half an hour. They're playing South Sudan, but Joel Embiid had already come out of the tunnel, waved to the crowd to many a boo, and I think I like that. He likes to be Joel Embiid, but hopefully that turns into a good performance.
He was considering playing for the French team, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the whole reason is he was offered a French passport.
Yeah.
Cameroon, I believe, had at one point, if not now, control over Cameroon. But also his reasoning behind that was like, maybe we don't want to be ruled by France, and that was
imperialism pushback.
Yeah, his interview with the New York Times, which we pulled some comments out about his being the GOAT or whatever, talked about his reasoning behind playing for Team USA versus playing for Cameroon.
Embiid would have been a small forward with Gobert and Wembanyama.
Yeah, I mean, would have been a good team. So, speaking of the Olympics, there is a Olympic Norwegian swimmer who has become obsessed with this chocolate muffin they have in the cafeteria at the Olympic Village. He has made upwards of I think 10 or 15 videos just about this chocolate muffin.
Okay.
He's obsessed with it, and then people are oh, I'm trying to find the chocolate muffin at the Olympic Village, and they can't find it. They think that the Norwegian kid ate all of them.
Hoarding them all.
Anyway, so got me thinking. You have ever had a food fixation where you just eat the same thing every day for weeks and weeks on end where you don't get tired of it? Travis, I think we know the answer. Patrick.
Yeah, you saw the look on my face.
Yeah.
I am currently in the midst of one.
Mm-hmm.
I have eaten my Albertson sushi for lunch.
Yeah.
At least 4 days a week, and frequently more than that.
Okay.
Every day for the better part of 6 months.
That's a pretty healthy one.
It is.
Did you have one? Because I got one growing up. Did you have one growing up, like a something that you know is bad for you, but you just used to eat it all the time?
I was consuming quantities of Coca-Cola that was way unhealthy. Like when I was in junior high and high school, I'd probably have 5 cans of Coke a day. And that was just look. It was the '80s. We didn't know any better, right? It's just you get thirsty, you have a Coke. You come home from school, you have a Coke. Before you eat dinner, you have a Coke. Before you go to bed, you have a Coke.
About to play a baseball game, you have a Coke.
Yes.
After a baseball game,
yes.
have a Coke.
You just keep having Cokes. But yeah, no, I am in the midst. I've had more pieces of sushi in the last 6 months than I've had in my entire life combined. It's not even close.
I go fact. I think of when I was a kid. You know what was always in the freezer, and I don't understand why it was in the freezer. Well, I do understand. My third-degree burns came from Hot Pockets. I used to always eat Hot Pockets, just the pepperoni and cheese one.
Those are
none
good.
of the other one, just the pepperoni and cheese. And I put it in the microwave, and the ends would be piping hot. The middle would still be semi-frozen. And I don't know what the hell, and I don't know when it. I think this was all predominantly middle school. It was like I got home from school. I would eat some food that my mom would make, but I would always end up with a Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket was my thing.
I did the Hot Pocket breakfasts. I would have the ham and cheese Hot Pocket breakfast every morning for a long time. And then also my snack after school was always, I'd have like ruffled Lay's chips and just dip them in sour cream.
That sounds
That's
great.
all I ate.
That sounds terrific. I'd do that
Yeah.
right now. By the way, if you have 10 minutes, go on YouTube or wherever your platform of choice is and listen to Jim Gaffigan's bit on Hot Pockets. It's the funniest damn thing you've ever heard in your life.
Pretty great.
It's unbelievable.
Jim Gaffigan on food is Travis level good.
His Hot Pockets and Subway are unbelievable.
There's also a good one
I gotta
on
do that on my way home.
The fried bread. It's
Yes.
like fried bread, fried bread. Anyway.
Gaffigan's great.
All right, so we talked about this earlier in the show today, but House of the Dragon season finale of season 2 has been leaked online. So if you want to find it, you can find it. If you want to avoid it, you can avoid it. But my statement is, so if this was a show you cared about, if this was, I don't know, Succession, Better Call Saul, a show you cared about, you would watch the leaked episode before it aired. Like, you would go out of your way to find it. Al, fact or cap?
Fact. If I could watch it, I have to wait till Sunday. Today's Wednesday. Why not just go home tonight and throw that bad boy on and watch it? I go fact on that. I'm watching it.
Trev?
Can I ask a qualifier? I know you don't like these.
Sure.
Is it exactly the same quality and picture and sound and everything?
Yeah.
Because sometimes those
You're right.
sometimes
No.
those bootleg ones are super janky,
Yeah.
and it kind of
if I could hear someone in the background recording from
or
home,
it's got
I'd probably
the timestamp running in the corner of the thing the whole time.
Yeah. So let's say, because this is the situation basically that is.
Yeah.
Because it says it's leaked, but do you know for sure that this is actually the leak, or do you think it's a false?
I would not.
Yeah, okay.
I would not.
Yeah.
I would cap that. I would wait to make, because I want to see it as it was meant to be made by the people that made the show, and if that means the music, the editing, the lighting, like all of those things, not just kind of like a rough cut or maybe something that's not completely finished. I want to watch it. Wouldn't say I wouldn't go back and look at it later, but I don't need to jump ahead.
If the quality is bad, that's
Or
different.
even
if I'm watching basically
Yeah.
the same thing, then I'm going to watch it.
It's in Spanish, but you have English subtitles.
No.
But what if it's just Rickrolled? What if you open it up and it's just the Rickroll going on? Never gonna give you
Rick Astley is most famous for that. That's terrific.
You know, it's pretty popular. Sean McVay is pretty popular.
Yeah.
Pretty popular.
You know what it turns out people like?
Winning.
Winning.
Yeah.
People like
coaches that know what they're doing.
People like, hey, did you win? Yeah, I like you. It's not super complicated.
All right, so Italian gymnast Giorgia Villa, probably is how you say her name, Giorgia Villa, just won a silver medal in team all-around, so she was part of the Italian team that got second overall. But she's also the ambassador for Parmigiano Reggiano. So she's
cheese?
Yes, the brand of cheese coming from Italy, and there's pictures of her as the sponsor just hugging Parmigiano Reggiano. So you would want to be the sponsor of Parmigiano Reggiano as well, Travis Cap.
Fact. Like, to be just associated with it, it's not like even it's not like it's Kraft Parmigiano Reggiano. It's just hey, you represent Swiss cheese. You represent Gruyere. You represent, Gorgonzola. Like, awesome. Amazing. Imagine if I was the official spokesperson of ham. What an amazing honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be incredible. I would, yes.
Like Pepperidge Farm just calls you up or whatever.
But I don't want to do it for Pepper. I mean, I will do it
Boar's
for
Head, that's what I'm thinking.
Boar's Head, great. But no, what, Ham. Just ham. Like, ham needs a spokesperson.
Ham
as Travis Rogers
concept.
for chips.
Al, what do you think?
Yeah, I think fact, too. I think the fact that we're all talking about it, that's a cool partner or sponsor to have.
Ham.
No, I even go further than that. You are the spokesperson for chips. It doesn't matter what brand of chips. You just are the spokesperson for chips. Fact on that. I'm into.
All right, so a story came out, and again, we'll take this story with a grain of salt. It may just be a marketing tactic to get as much money as possible, but the Kelsey brothers and their podcast, the New Heights podcast, is looking to get bought because they are currently, I believe, with a Wave Sports and Entertainment. They're looking to get bought by a podcasting firm, or the cost of their entirety of their podcast network. They want to get $100 million for the New Heights podcast. So that's what they're worth. You think that that's what the Kelsey podcast is worth. Al, Factor Cap.
$100 million for the New Heights podcast. $100 million.
I'm thinking this is just the rights to it, the rights to have it on your network. Say it was like Alan Sliwa Sports Podcast Network.
Here's why I'm going to go fact. I'm going to go fact because I think their podcast will live well past their playing careers. And I think that's
past his relationship with Taylor Swift and their playing careers.
It's an interesting part of it.
Well, the podcast was popular before Taylor Swift.
Not nearly as popular.
But it was very popular, wasn't it?
It was not the #1 sports podcast, which it was the past year.
I would still take my chances, and I would say yes. And and this is what I'm hitting more on. I think, let me use as an example, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. I know that podcast, which it's been around now for 8-9 years.
Is that the Up in Smoke?
That's the Up in Smoke.
Yeah.
I know that's been around for a long time. And what would stop that podcast? All the smoke. What would stop that podcast from continuing to be? I feel like those two guys, their personality, the way they tell stories, their insight on the NFL, their insight on football, the fact that even when they're Kelsey or both of them, I know one of them is already retired. Both of them are retired. I still think they're going to have the connections and the contacts in the NFL. I think that would be a expensive investment, but a good investment.
Trev?
I think it's fact. And for most of the reasons that Al mentioned, because you look at some of these sports podcasts that have sold for big dollars, whether it's The Ringer and Bill Simmons or something like that. Those have gone for massive numbers. And I'll use this one, I think, is more closer to it. Smartless. Right, so Sean Hayes, Jason Bateman, Will Arnett put together Smartless during the pandemic, kind of as like a lark, kind of let's just goof around and see if anybody cares about this. Well, they ended up selling it for about $100 million in like 6 months. It just boom, they knocked it out of the park. I think iHeart bought them, or what? I forget which network it was, but. That's kind of what this is. It's not just that those guys are actors. It's that they're very personable. It's that they have access to all of these other entertainers that they can bring onto their show and just keep running it out over and over again. That's what somebody was buying. I think that's the Kelseys. The really interesting part is the once the Taylor Swift of it all goes away.
How much of an audience is lost?
There's some. I mean, how much? I don't know. Like, because they're obviously very entertaining people. The Kelce brothers are an entertaining watch or listen. But I think they're pulling it. The reason those numbers are just so crazy is because the Swifties are a big part of it.
So let me put this in there. So Alex Cooper, who does the Call Her Daddy podcast, she was made known because she dated Noah Syndergaard. She was on the Barstool Network, and she dated Noah Syndergaard. So people started watching her. She built her podcast. And now it's, again, one of the bigger podcasts that's out there is the Call Her Daddy podcast. And it's grown beyond her 10 seconds with Noah Syndergaard when Noah Syndergaard was Thor, the man.
And she was with somebody else. That person left, and she's still doing what she's doing.
So who knows? If it, obviously, the Taylor Swift did help them get to the #1 podcast, sports podcast. But if and when that ends up falling through, who knows?
I think they're going to be all right. I really do. They have personality, Slee. You know what I mean? Like the Kelce's, for me, like I don't mean this derisively at all. I don't care about Taylor Swift in any meaningful way, but I find them interesting, especially Jason. I think Jason's the one that makes that go from a personality standpoint more than Travis. Travis's flavor of the month is too strong of a word, but he's the hot thing right now because he's dating the most famous pop star in the world. But Jason Kelce's actually pretty entertaining. We'll see.
All right, Factor Cap, of course, is presented by Joseph S. Normand. Go to normandlegal.com for all your information and make sure he'll take care of you if you run into any type of legal trouble.
Absolutely. Joseph S. Normand is the man. I've called him myself. Make sure you make that call. All right. We are here live at Rams training camp. The guys are on the field. They're doing a little walkthrough right here. Looks sleek. They're doing some kickoff stuff. We got to watch. I got to see how this thing's going to play out. We'll do more of that. We got some Rams stuff to talk about coming up next. It's Travis Lee live from LMU. It's Rams training camp on 710 ESPN. Is your vehicle ready for service, right? Little sticker in the window. If you don't have a sticker, that definitely means that you're ready for service. So before you get on the road for your summer road trip, go away for the weekend, go see friends and family, make sure your car's running right? Get yourself into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Because for over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you and me, which means you don't have to get out of the car. You drive up, drive in, drive out, all in about 15 minutes. You don't even get out of the front seat. You sit there. You relax. You can drink a cup of coffee. You can listen to a podcast. You can listen to the Trav and Slee Show. You can do whatever you want in those 15 minutes, and then, boom, you're down the road. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and a whole lot more. And wherever you – oh, yeah, wipers, too. You can get that done, too. There are over 80 locations around Southern California, which means – there's one close to you. So here's what you do. You go to SoCalOilChange.com to find one of those locations and get game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
The biggest show on the radio.
That's Mason in Ireland.
Weekdays after Trav and Slee.
All right, let's go to Abdul. Abdul, you're on Sports Graffiti. Go ahead, Abdul.
Hey, you guys, I love you. Been listening to the show for 15 years, and I just want to say, Mason, you just don't bring it like you used to bring it anymore. And I'm just wondering, did you not drink your coffee this morning, or what's going on, man?
You think I'm not bringing it today?
Today, especially, but just in general. Over the past year, I feel like you just kind of coasted.
Wow, this call is going to rot in his head.
That is absolutely ridiculous, Abdul.
And I'm sure we won't use it for imaging at all. Abdul, what are you doing for the Mandy's next year?
I'm showing up and bringing Mason some coffee and some Energizer.
All right, okay, there you go. Mason needs some coffee. I had 2 quad espressos today. I don't know what else I can do.
Steve Mason and John Ireland, today at 1 p.m.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN.
Just as every point matters, every detail counts in our meticulously crafted vehicles. Experience luxury at the top of its game. Welcome to Cadillac of Beverly Hills, the #1 Cadillac dealer in the Western region for the 3rd year in a row. Come and check out the incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles today at our showroom, 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills, and at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Hon, I was doing our bills today and noticed something quite alarming. We're paying a ton of interest on our credit cards. We owe $20,000 on one with a rate of 24 and $15,000 on another with a rate of 29. The rate calculation is buried in the fine print.
Bob and Liz at the office told me they had the same issue, so they called the Loan Exchange. Bob refinanced and paid off $50,000 in credit cards, and Liz got a home equity line and paid off $30,000.
That makes sense. I'll call the Loan Exchange and get rid of these ridiculous credit card rates.
17 days later.
Hon, we closed with the Loan Exchange today, and I found out the interest in our refi is tax deductible. I can't believe we didn't do this sooner. Every day we were lighting money on fire by paying those crazy credit card rates.
Call the Loan Exchange at 855-752-9944 or go to theloanexchange.com. NMLS 1637539. Loan subject to credit approval. See website for licensing information, loan terms and conditions. Equal housing lender. That's 855-752-9944 or theloanexchange.com.
And now Martha Stewart for Skechers. When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710.
Jimmy G.
He's there. I'm aware.
Yeah, he's over there. You know what?
He's a great quarterback.
She tried taking her
great
full
backup
setup
quarterback.
closer over there.
Fantastic.
Kind of get it.
I hope that he is a great addition to the Rams this season.
They might need him. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, they got quarterback guys over there. By the way, that looks like...
Don't embarrass me.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. That's probably a pretty good gig, right, Slee? Like, they got red jerseys on, which means they just get to hang out. Nobody gets to hit them. They get to, make all the money, do all the commercials, and the only thing that happens is no matter what happens, if it goes wrong, it's your fault.
Yeah, I was just going to say. And then the only thing you have is basically every quarterback, the weight on his shoulders every game is, don't screw this up.
Don't leave this part out, too. It's basically impossible.
Right.
There's 11 guys that are coming to physically hurt you.
Yeah.
You've got about a second and a half to make a series of about 10 or 12 if-then decisions, and then I need you to throw a ball through a hole the size of about 1.5 balls. Okay, I need you to do that.
By the way, do you see this?
What's
that?
that?
They are working on
the kick.
It looks like they're working on the kick.
They're using a machine. Where's Josh Carty? I want to watch him kind of chip it in there.
Yeah, nobody moved and just kind of waiting.
How many
no pads.
How many penalties do you think there's going to be? It's going to be wild. You watched a little of the Pete Rose doc last night?
So I did a rabbit hole
Good guy,
on your guys' rabbit holes. I watched part of Jorge's Fire Chasers.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I watched part of that. I watched the first episode. Really interesting, really good. And then I got about an episode and a half of Pete Rose. Now, here's the difference between you watching a Pete Rose doc. Is there a lot you're learning from, or you already know?
I knew 95% of it.
So you and Morales were talking about it yesterday, and it sounded like, you basically already know a lot of this stuff. For me, I really don't know that much about Pete Rose. I really don't. So that to me was the most interesting part, is that I know he's banned from baseball. Everybody knows that. But the amount of lying or his personal life or his relationship with his dad or, there were certain things that I was able to walk. And, I also just how much of a baller he was.
Oh, he's a great player. Yeah. Nobody ever questioned he's a great player.
The Charlie hustle, little things like that, those nuances were different for me. So I might have enjoyed the documentary more than somebody that already knows everything about Pete Rose.
Yeah, it wasn't so much keeping track of the lies as trying to find the things that weren't lies, which, as far as I could tell, was nothing. That was nothing that was going to happen. Little Olympic update. Jason Tatum, who DNP CD'd in the opening game, in the starting lineup tonight, along with
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, the full five is Devin Booker, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, Steph Curry.
I love that LeBron's of course LeBron's starting. It's like that. This is his.
They have a team on the bench with Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant.
But shouldn't we be at the point with LeBron James where this is, if not entirely ceremonial, at least mostly ceremonial, and it's not. He's not only not a ceremonial presence, he is the best player that starts all the games, that has the ball in his hands when it gets close.
And fans are still bitching and complaining about him the way they were 4 years ago. And they're saying, Braun, you gotta do a little better job on defense. Stop with the turnovers. You're also treating him like a player like he is from 2017,
This
2018.
should be, he comes out, he waves, maybe he starts, he maybe takes a shot or two and then goes and sits down and really isn't a meaningful part of what they're doing. That's not it at all. He is probably the heart and soul of this team. At 40 years old, it's nuts.
Watching USA basketball, too, I think that's also another good example because USA basketball, you have guys that are – pick whichever player you want. You want Steph Curry, you want Anthony Edwards, you want KD, you want Tatum. Just kind of go down the list. I know KD's a little bit older as well, but still, obviously younger than LeBron by a few years. But if you think about the way USA basketball, they got a game coming up against South Sudan starting at noon. If you think of the way the Olympics have gone so far, either in these friendly matchups or any of these games, Bron has actually been one of the go-tos. Bron has been the player. It's like, hey, game's on the line. Can you figure that out? But, the first thing that comes to my mind when I see that, here's USA basketball. And two of the 5 players starting represent the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are in the starting lineup for USA basketball. And not that anybody is, shocked by it, but the fact that those 2 players also represent the Lakers and you're the 8th, 9th, or 10th best team in the Western Conference, that's if I'd have told you that there's 2 players that are starting and they both represent the Celtics or they both represent the Warriors, your automatic thought is like, man, watch out for that team in whatever conference they're in, and unfortunately, that's not the case.
No, it speaks to it speaks to the rest of the Lakers roster. It's just not good enough, and hasn't been for a while. Because
can you make it good enough?
Well, that's a separate question and a good question, but it's not that they don't have enough star power. That's not the problem. It's not that, hey, we don't have one of the 10 best players in the league. Sure you do. You might have 2 of them. You definitely have 2 of the best 15. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, they seem to think it's the coach because they get a new one every couple of years, and they change out the supporting cast a lot. It's not at the top. It's everything but that. Those 2 guys are those 2 guys.
Now, let's go back to, and listen, I know it was 4 years ago now, but I think people forget, and it's a good point. With LeBron and Anthony Davis, you can. The idea is, yes, you can be competitive, right? Now, how competitive you can be, you're basically 7 through 10. But 2020, LeBron and Anthony Davis were there. How good was everybody else? I think it's so easy to forget just how many good players.
Caruso, Danny Green, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo. Who else am I forgetting?
Kyle Kuzma was on that team.
Yeah,
KCP was on that team.
Yeah, Caruso.
I'm so many good, important players that were a part of JaVale McGee. There's so many good players, and I think what you just said that, they might have 2 starters that are representing USA basketball. What's the rest of your squad look like? Okay. And that was 4 or 5 years ago.
So we're here at Rams training camp, and the guys that are not on the special teams units are closest to us. They're stretching, they're doing some very light running, and they're doing some things. And I noticed something, Al, that I want to ask you about the type of guy that you would be, and Emily, the type of woman that you would be, because I know exactly which of those guys I would be. It's coming up next. It's Travis Slee live from Rams training camp at LMU on 710 ESPN.
You never have to miss a moment of LA's mega sports station. Get the all-new ESPN LA app.
Just search ESPN LA in your App Store or Google Play.
Download, tap, and bam!
You got 710 ESPN in the palm of your hand.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. NextGen is the official AC Heating Plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. NextGen is the absolute best in the biz and has thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it. And right now, you can get an $88 drain cleaning and they'll add in a free plumbing camera inspection. So if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, just call NextGen at 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN. NextGen includes water, plumbing, heater, and AC safety inspections. Prioritize the safety of your loved ones at home. NextGen is the only name you need to remember for a safe and comfy home. And if you're concerned about the air quality in your home as well or have allergy problems, call NextGen and breathe easy with indoor air quality solutions to fit any budget. So call them at 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN, or visit them online at nextgenairandplumbing.com to schedule your appointment today.
NEXGEN, call 833-3-NEXTGEN.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
And it is the Travis and Sliwa Show Wednesday, live from Rams training camp, the practice field at LMU. On your home of Rams football, 710 ESPN, we head back to Loyola Marymount University and back to the Travis and Sliwa Show, live from Rams training camp on 710.
Joined by one of the fiercest linebackers to ever play the game. Kirk Morrison is back from wherever it is you went for 45 minutes.
I just sit back. I go over there and watch practice.
Okay.
See who's out there.
They're not doing it.
Kirk's handling business, man. He's handling business.
You know, there's some injury updates. You talked Jonah Jackson a little bit earlier. One of the Rams' prize free agent.
Sure.
Free agents of the offseason. He's not available for the Rams today. So I'm always watching some of the new players.
And Alaric Jackson is not participating in Rob Havenstein. But again, that's just like for our walkthrough, not necessarily any huge deal.
So Jackson and Jackson not available on the left side.
Sounds like a law firm.
See what I did there?
That is, yeah.
See what I did there?
They will represent you.
There we go. Okay. Lark Jackson, Jonah Jack. That's the left side of the offensive
Where
line.
were you like 5 minutes ago? Like physically, where were you standing?
I'm just hanging out.
So you're over here?
I'm over here.
So he's probably seen where I think
guys,
you're going. Yeah.
NFL Network guys are over there, so I'll say what's up.
When these guys were, and it looked like some offensive linemen, some defensive linemen, and quarterbacks.
Right.
So the rest of the guys were doing special team stuff.
Yeah.
So the guys that were down here were being led by, I'm assuming, a trainer or maybe an assistant coach. And they were doing some light stretching and some light agility drills and some light running. The degrees of varying effort among the players was amazing because there were some guys out there that were doing it hard.
Yep.
And then there were some guys.
Can I stop you for 1 second? Stetson Bennett still has to go run the helmet out to Matthew Stafford. For people listening, the Rams' first-team offense is on the field. Matthew Stafford's there, and all of a sudden he looks to the sideline, I forgot my helmet. So Stetson Bennett, the backup quarterback, has to grab the helmet and run it all the way out. And see, look, he's breathing. He's breathing a little bit. See that? Okay. For people, I know it's our visual, but you still got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues.
I like his rookie season was cut short. He wasn't there for the whole time, so maybe he still has a couple of helmet runs left in him.
Those are the little things I see, Travis.
Yeah,
I like
you
that. Guys. All right, go ahead.
I like
back
that.
to you.
So maybe this has something to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe the longer you're in the league, the less you have to bust it in these things. But I'm watching it. I'm going, and the amount of effort that most of the quarterbacks were putting in was
7%.
To say it was the bare minimum is not. It was less than the bare minimum.
Right.
And then there were guys. I would have been the guy doing just barely enough not to get noticed. That's it. That's my entire thing. Like, I'm going to do it because I'm a member of the team and you're asking me to do it. And I'm not going to not do it, but I'm certainly not going to try.
Were some guys, if we're saying on a scale of 1 to 10, what were the quarterbacks effort-wise?
1.5.
1.5. Who had the most? Were there guys giving 7s and 8s?
There were. I don't know if there were any 8s. There were definitely some 6s, and maybe a few 7s. But it looked like they were giving you 46s compared to the 1s that were taking.
I would have to. I'd have to. If I was out there, I'd have to give a 6, or actually, I'd have to give an 8 because I'm also about to get cut at any moment. So that's the reasoning why I'd have to give.
Were you a win the drill guy, Kirk?
No, I'm not a win the drill guy. You just go work hard, do what you got to do. So So basically, the guys who are over here kind of stretching, they're not special teams guys.
Right.
So these aren't your core guys. And you can tell by their footwear. Footwear is key.
So
Okay?
tell me what I'm looking at.
Footwear is key. So the guys who have like just shoes on, they're not going to give you a lot. Okay? They've told you I've got Cadillacs on. So look at just watch the guys who have like shoes on.
Well, I see some cleats
versus some cleats. So there's some guys who are going to have some cleats on. That means, hey, I'm going to run around, get a nice little
Where's
lather.
everybody going?
So there's two fields. So you have this field that we're looking at is like your main field. So this is like varsity. Okay? This is the varsity. So you've got the first team offense right here with Matthew Stafford.
So this is
got
the
first
English
team
Premier League in America field over here.
So when we see those guys go over behind us to the baseball field, that is field number 2. So that's kind of your second team offense, your second team defense. This is how you get the multiple plays and the reps in. So you have basically you split the squad up. And you'll have those guys run it, those guys over here. That's kind of a walkthrough practice.
Byron
Kirk's like
Young.
a tour guide out here.
Byron Young is a specimen.
Yeah. He's remember he went to Tennessee. You want, like I said, there's a couple guys on the Rams that I put a list together, okay, of guys who I want to get off the bus first. So before it was Aaron Donald. But see, now this spot is open because Aaron Donald won't be getting off the bus first.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely, you do it.
Steve Avila.
Okay, so Steve Avila, number 1. So you want him to get off the bus first. See, I actually would go Kevin Dotson.
Okay, yeah, not a bad pick either. Yeah, sure.
Because you got a dude who comes off with these Cartier lens glasses. All right, got the ball head going, offensive lineman, number 69. So he just comes off. He's a unit. So I want the units, the guys that come off the bus first.
I like that.
Because remember, Aaron Donald used to be that guy.
Sure.
Like when the TV cameras come to the game, it's all about the arrivals, right? You always see LeBron when he walks to the game.
Sure.
He's got his designer bag.
And a book.
He had a book. Well, on the first page, always.
And upside down.
It's all about the intros, right? Everybody wants to see the intro when guys get off the bus. So that used to be Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Now who's going to be that guy for the Rams? Like, you have to have the intimidating guy get off the bus first to let everybody know you mean business. So Steve Avila is going to be one. I think Kevin Dotson is going to be one. I'm putting Ernest Jones maybe.
Byron Young's not a bad pick.
Byron Young is another guy. So,
Kirk, you mentioned Aaron Donald right there. Was there any point where you felt like when he basically made the announcement that, all right, I'm done with the game of football, was there any point that you felt, nah, I'm not fully buying into this? And just where do you feel about it now?
To hear him talk about it, man, Aaron Donald said, look, dude, I'm full. Like, I'm done. Like, I ate it off. I did it. I'm done. I'm full. Like, there's nothing left for me really to accomplish. He's won 3 Defensive Player of the Years. He's won a Super Bowl. He's done everything, honestly, that you can truly every year that Aaron Donald was in the NFL, he was part of a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro team. Like, every year. And it's to a point where that motivation is probably just not there for him anymore. Chasing quarterbacks, not there. He'd rather go chase his kids and be the father. Sean McVay said, that to me, I learned more about Aaron Donald because that's what he wanted to go do. He didn't want to chase quarterbacks. He'd rather go run around and go chase his kids, have a good time, and he's healthy. I'm still in that. I mean, for me, I would have loved to just been dragged off the field. Now, the NFL doesn't allow that sometimes. Sometimes the NFL retires you without you even knowing. It's like when nobody signs you, you're retired, buddy. I didn't have a retirement, press conference. I didn't have all the cameras. It's just like nobody's calling.
Where'd everybody go?
Yeah. Hello. All right, you're retired, buddy. So that's how I was. But with him, a little bit different, man. He was able to say, you know what? I'm done. I'm walking off the field. I won a Super Bowl, and I left the place better than when I first arrived.
It's a great way to put it.
You mentioned that he's full. I get it.
That's what he said.
And I am asking this as a Rams fan who wants him to come back. So understand where I'm coming from.
Correct.
How do you feel, say, I don't know, when do you guys eat dinner at Thanksgiving? What time is food at the table?
I would say between 3:30 and 6.
Okay, let's say 3:30.
That's yeah.
Okay. What's happening about 8 o'clock in your house? When you finish the meal, you feel like you think I'm never going to eat another bite of food the rest of my life. What happens?
Open up that fridge for a quick second. Yep.
What happens the next day?
Or later that night.
Later that night?
Make that turkey sandwich with the cranberries on it and the stuffing. You put that on there. You know why? You're hungry again.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. You get full. You go, I can't eat another bite. I'm good, man. I don't ever want to see another piece of turkey.
Michael Jordan the same way?
And then you go away and you're like, it sounds pretty good. It's some turkey. It sounds pretty good. It's like gravy, a little stuffing, little, that sounds pretty. Little mashed potatoes. Let's go. Possible.
See where Trav's mind's at.
I see where
July
it's at.
31st.
But possible.
I know what you're saying.
I get it. You're full.
You're full.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not even asking you to eat right now. But just so you know, I got a fridge full of stuff over here. So if you get hungry, I got you. Is that possible?
He's always welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Sean McVay, I'm not going to close that door. If I'm listening, I'm not closing that door. The door is always open if you want to return. Now, it would probably be more of a playoff type of thing. Think about it, if Kobe Turner or
Eric Weddle did it.
Like Braden Fisk, some of these young players who are going to be asked to give you what Aaron Donald gave you. It's going to be multiple guys, but if Aaron Donald is available and there's a need for him and the Rams are heading into the playoffs, that will be interesting. Because if I'm Sean McVay, I'm picking up the phone because he's going to be in great shape. He's going to be ready to go. And we've seen what he can do without a training camp. Remember, I think McVay's first training camp he got here, Aaron Donald was in a contract negotiation. They were like, the dude's not here. He's not here. And all of a sudden he comes out week one and it's like, well,
and
there he is.
Wrecked.
Wreck shop.
Yeah.
I think that part's interesting because, whether it's coming back for a playoff or any of that stuff, I'm assuming they just approach the season. What you don't want to have is this, hey, he may come back. He may come back. From their perspective, starting the season, you got to put Aaron Donald on the back page, don't you? And what I'm talking about is you can't be hoping there's a savior coming to help with a squad that you have absolutely no idea if he's coming back or not.
No, they've put him in the rear view for the most part.
It has to be a surprise.
Yeah, it almost feels that way, right? Like it's not expected, but if it came, of course you're more than happy.
That's a hell of a surprise.
Yeah, but it's break glass if necessary. You're only making that call if
does
you're
he reach out? Does it? I think that's interesting, right? Like which way does that dynamic need to take place? Is it Aaron Donald saying, "Hey guys, if you need me, I'm here," because the answer is obviously, come on in, or is it a, hey, AD,
right? Here's the situation.
Here's the situation. We think you can help us win another Super Bowl, and here's what we'd like to see you do, and we're asking you to do this for us.
It's similar to Tom Brady. Tom Brady's now been 1 year removed from playing in the NFL. Do you think he wants to come back?
No, I think once you've been out a year, that's it.
That's it.
And not impossible. But
if we're sitting here a year from now, you're saying that's it. Yeah.
I've come more to your side, Al. I've come more to the side of, because this isn't being a quarterback. Yeah. This isn't being a basketball player or anything like that. This is playing in the trenches in the NFL. It hurts, man.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's physical. You get the you-know-what beat out of you. And even Aaron Donald, who's as strong and as fast and as quick and as skilled and as all the alls, it still hurts, right? It's brutal. So I understand wanting to say, I do not want to do that anymore. And if I just don't have the stomach for because if you're asking me to run a route, throw a pass, I can maybe find my way through that. But to go have 75 fist fights every Sunday, I don't want to go do that. That sounds awful.
That many car wrecks every week?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I want to go home. I want to go hang out with the family, the wife, kids. Go do my own thing. Look, he's going down as one of the greatest players ever to play defense. To me, there's three. Lawrence Taylor.
Yep.
Reggie White.
Yep.
Aaron Donald.
Put Ronnie Lott on that list?
I'll go Charles Woodson before Ronnie.
Okay.
I'll go. Yes, I am, Ben. Yeah. I said it. You're Ben, yes. I know you're a 49er fan.
Yeah.
But my allegiance to Charles Woodson, the former Heisman Trophy winner, who played cornerback to start, then went over and played safety.
So did Ronnie Lott.
All-pro safety.
So was Ronnie Lott.
And then, look, Charles Woodson, man, it's just iconic. All right?
Ronnie Lott's not a doorstopper.
He's not a doorstopper. I mean, he gave up his pinky finger. Yeah. He gave up a pinky finger. Like,
would you have done that?
Yeah, because if you look at my pinky right now.
No, I know you got that one
YouTube,
finger that's kind of messed up.
See that finger? See the people looking?
But if they said, listen.
Yeah, see that? I gave up a pinky.
We're gonna take that off, and you're going to walk around like this for the rest of your life.
Nah.
But
Better
you're
keep
going to be
that
ready
one
to
on.
go.
Let's
I
keep
think
that
this
one
is
on.
good enough, though.
Yeah, keep that one on.
Like, this is good enough. I can still grab some grocery bags and all that stuff, but, yeah, it gets pretty crazy when you start to, like, hold it out. Look at that.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
just chilling.
It's chilling. That's what it is.
I got to
It's
know.
got its
It's
own
not like
mind.
Torrey Holt, though.
No,
No,
That's different.
Torrey's ring
Torrey's
finger
different.
goes this way.
Yeah.
It goes. It's
Correct.
like at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, he's going east, west, north, and south.
I got to know Deacon Jones a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like he stuck his hands in a lawnmower.
Oh my god!
It's like whoa, dude, no, don't show me that.
They didn't wear gloves at the time he played.
And no.
There was like no gloves.
It was
like a badge of honor.
It was absolutely crazy. You said something, Kirk, that somebody tweeted about that I want to get into next. Going back to the trade deadline and going back to specifically what happened last night in San Diego with the Dodgers and the Padres.
What about tonight? What about tonight?
We got another one tonight. We'll talk about Kershaw. We'll talk about Cease. But the Dodgers do a thing that I think is really interesting, and I think it's part of the reason they've struggled in the postseason. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, live from LMU. It is Rams training camp. Quentin Lake scheduled to join us coming up in just a little bit on 710 ESPN.
I play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, Southern California's premier resort casino experience. About an hour away from Los Angeles. Best resort in Southern California. Pechanga gives guests all the amenities they expect of a world-class resort, exceptional entertainment, dining, spa, and golf, and let's not forget the round-the-clock gaming excitement, 1,100 hotel rooms and suite, the spa, golf course, 20 bars and restaurants, and so much more at Pechanga Resort Casino, one of the largest resort casinos in the country. I was there about a month ago or so, and one of the things I love most, for those that are looking to vacation somewhere, you got a family, you're not in a position or just don't want to get on a flight and go fly 2 hours and pay the cost that you would with an airline. They got a really, really cool pool complex, 4.5-acre pool complex, 4 pools, 3 hot tubs, 2 twisty water slides at the family pool. So it's a perfect place to take your family and try and enjoy some of this hot weather getting into one of those pools over at Pechanga. Visit Pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA to book a reservation. Or for more information, you could also follow them on Instagram at Pechanga Casino for up-to-the-minutes news and info.
Mason and Ireland.
The story of the football coach, the stripper, and the monkey.
What?
Pay the
I love
most
football, strippers,
for beer.
and monkeys. The biggest show on the radio. Next at 1 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mace. Let's talk about trust and respect. Respect is a word that follows Jacob Emrani everywhere he goes. Over 27 years, Jacob has built a legacy of trust and respect. The insurance companies and attorneys respect your case when they see Jacob's name on it. After an accident, you can trust Jacob. Your case will get the respect it deserves. So call Jacob, 844-24-JACOB, or go to calljacob.com. That's calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
Have you thought about entering a debt relief program because you have crushing credit card payments that only seem to go up? Know this before you do. Debt settlement will torch your credit score and make getting any credit over the next few years a true nightmare. If you own a home, there is a better way out. You can refinance with the Loan Exchange to pay off all your non-mortgage debt. Even if the rate is higher than your current mortgage, you can knock your monthly nut down while boosting your credit score even higher. Bonus, the Loan Exchange has free closer loans, meaning no closing costs. Extra bonus, mortgage interest is tax deductible up to a loan amount of $750,000, which means even more savings. So call the Loan Exchange at 855-752-9944 or go to theloanexchange.com to dump those 24% interest credit cards now. NMLS 1637539. Loan subject to credit approval. See website for licensing information, loan terms and conditions. Equal housing lender. That's 855-752-9944 or theloanexchange.com.
Summer's just getting started, so fill your cooler with the smooth and refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. It tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real brewed tea. And with a 5% kick of alcohol, Twisted Tea is perfect for the beach, the lake, or wherever you're hanging out and day drinking with your friends. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
NFL Plus Premium is your ticket to the NFL offseason.
With the first pick
in the NFL Draft.
Catch all your favorite offseason coverage and stream exclusive content from the NFL Draft, training camp, free agency, and more. Relive the biggest plays from the season with full and condensed game replays.
He's in! Touchdown!
Plus, stay connected with 24/7 football news and coverage on NFL Network. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Team USA is going for the gold in Paris.
USA!
It's time for a Summer Games medal count update. Thanks to our friends at Islands Restaurants. Islands winning the gold medal for the coldest beer in town.
And they're off.
With your latest medal count, here is Alan Sliwa.
All right, here's where we are on the medal count. China leading right now as far as golds go. They got 8. United States, only 4 golds at the moment, but they're leading in the entire medals. They got 29 total between bronze, between silver.
Wait till track.
Of course,
gold.
That's
when
we
really start to
wait
lay it
until
down.
literally right now, Keela Ducky's in the water
Yep.
for her best event, the 1500 free, which just started, should be over by the end of the segment.
Both basketball teams. I mean, we got some goals out there.
Okay, so this is going to be part of it as well. You got U.S. men's basketball playing South Sudan as we speak. U.S. women's soccer team defeated Australia 2-1 in the last game of their group stage. So that is the latest right there. And, of course, this is all presented by Islands. Go for the gold with the coldest beer in town. Kirk's ready for a beer. Trav's ready for a beer.
Always.
And Simone Biles is still out there waiting to get her next 5 medals.
Get up
Ledecky will clean up. Our track team always crushes it.
That's the expectation.
How do you feel about Lyles? You know, the guy that
Noah
called
Lyles?
Out. Yeah, Noah Lyles.
Yeah.
He
Noah
called out,
Lyles.
said I'm
Yeah.
the fastest man in the world. Maybe he'll get the 100 meter.
He might. Our women's track team always just crushes it. So we got. Well, we're going to be fine.
We're fine.
We'll
Sunday
have it all
morning, I'm
set.
not going to lie to you. Woke up, watched archery.
I watched it last night.
It was amazing.
It's crazy.
So
Do you know
great.
how far that
Oh, my
stupid
God.
target is?
That's my only mishap with them right now. Is that they're not showing the depth of how far they're shooting from.
Okay.
Not
You know what I
respecting
mean?
it.
They weren't like they were just showing a close up of
This
them
is-
pulling the arrow back.
This
and then they
is-
just show the finish. Like I want to see how far they're doing it.
A massive television production
Mishap. Okay, I'm not the only one.
So
Thank you.
they do.
Thank you.
Like the scale?
They pull the bow right to their face. And it's a cool shot, right?
Straight
so
up.
they literally have the bowstring like smashed up against their face.
But then they just show the target.
and then they let it go, and then it's a split screen, and you see the arrow go thump into the target. Okay,
Right.
cool. It's and they're shooting at this bullseye that's tiny.
How far?
10-yard line here to basically the goal line down there.
Correct.
Okay, it's 65 yards away, and it is so they finally in the middle. You and I saw exactly the same thing. They finally took a shot from behind the archer's shoulders, and you couldn't even see the damn target. It was so far away, and they're putting it through something the size of a silver dollar. It's bananas.
They
All right, I got to go back and watch
to
this.
put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Sleep. The television.
Never heard Travis passionate about it.
because the television production looked as if they were doing like darts at a bar.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm talking about? You know, when you and a couple of buddies are at the bar, you're like,
You at the
this.
camera,
Just play-
yeah,
yes.
right there, yep.
That's what it made it look like. I'm like, oh, I could do that.
It's like 65 or 70
It's
yards
amazing.
away.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I watched it. I watched.
They were the cool little glasses.
Come on,
They
Ed.
have like it looks like almost like a golf rangefinder where they're looking down the line to see where it
China
was.
versus Korea was amazing.
And then I tried. Did you watch the shooting? The shooting came on right after it. Did you watch it in the shooting?
I just got the early part. I just got the archery.
So I watched the archery. It ended. We lost. Boo.
Didn't stand a chance. It was-
And they come on with the shooting, like skeet shooting.
Skeet shooting.
I'm like, yeah, there's a reason this isn't on TV. Like they're
Not good.
like the guys are out there and they're in their little shooting position
Pull.
and they don't even yell pull. I was so bummed out. Like I wanted them to yell pull. They're sitting there, they're ready, and then all of a sudden you kind of see something move in the distance, and then just this little puff, a little poof of the dust where they hit the little clay pigeon. I'm like, this sucks. Like you couldn't see anything. You
I
couldn't
love
see any of it. I loved it.
See,
We can watch the Olympics together. It's that weird stuff, like the swimming's cool, the gymnastics.
I'm with you
cool,
on the
track
weird
stuff.
stuff,
about
the
all that
random stuff
already.
that we don't watch.
But like swimming, I get whoever gets to the wall first wins. Like there's nothing like I like the stuff I don't get.
Yeah.
Archery was terrific.
I just love the play-by-play.
Did
and
you
the analyst stuff? You know, like they talk about, like you can tell by the way that the the right arm flinged as it was releasing to the bow. And I'm like, bro, thank you. Why did she get
Imagine
like
doing the
an
play-by-play
inch
of
out
that.
of the bullseye? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she still got 9 instead of 10. What do you say?
You're right,
Yeah.
Slee. It's like the play-by-play. Yeah, hit the bullseye. No, they missed.
Solid.
No, that's a 9, not a 10.
I need to know why did she do that?
Yeah,
Why
did
did
she
he
pull
not
it?
do
Did
that?
she choke? Did
Like,
she
what
catch it
happened?
on the out or the in breath? Like these, I need some analysis.
I need that. I found it.
I think that's the difference of when you get someone who's just a very good play-by-play person for a different sport,
Yeah.
besides when you get like a play-by-play or a color person that swam or did the sport, and so that's when you get like the intricacies a little bit too.
Are you feeling D Wade? You feeling D Wade?
By the way, a little bit.
I'm
he's
not.
He's not bad.
You're not feeling-
Really?
You don't like it?
No.
Why not?
I don't think I'm crazy about D Wade. I've heard him during some of his broadcasting stuff. I've heard him some of his analysis. Certain players, I feel like I could just instantly. I'm like, yeah, I can listen to that. I don't know what it is.
What would you like more of or less of?
Because Noah Eagle, I can't even. Noah and Iron Eagle, they're like the same. Maybe it's just like it's just a younger version.
Iron Eagle's really good. Noah Eagle's really good.
It's just like-
they're both.
It's just going to be all Eagles for a long time.
Yeah.
You know
Lot
what
of
it is?
Eagles.
I don't. It's. I wonder if it's something personal with Dwayne Wade.
Is that what it is?
Look, if that's what it is.
That's what
I
it
can
is,
get on
Slee.
board with that. I'm all about
That's
personal
just a hater?
agendas.
That's,
Yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
cool.
That's
That's
cool.
cool.
And it's okay. I get
Dwayne
it.
Wade. No,
It's okay.
Dwayne Wade could
Right.
have just this.
Yeah.
Lakers playing him for
Right.
X Men. Not that there was really anything there, but I don't know. Dwayne Wade hasn't hit me.
I
It
got
hasn't
you.
clicked.
It's like when Ron Darling is on TBS.
He's great,
in the
too.
Playoffs, right? But Slee doesn't like him. Or John Smoltz. You're just like, oh, I'm a
Smoltz- so-
no,
okay,
the 80s guy.
Smoltz gets a lot of crap. I like Smoltz.
See, Smoltz knows what he's talking about, so
Correct.
I don't dislike him, obviously.
Yeah.
Smoltz is grumpy.
Grumpy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
And
that.
I
Yeah, there's a little
don't
bit
need
of that.
grumpy in that chair. Like, I need fun in that chair. That's why Darling is a good mix of
Good.
grumpy and fun.
I love Ozzie Guillen, by the way, in the studio.
Ozzy just wants to fight
Ozzy.
everybody.
I said, hey, buddy, hey, get out of my face, okay? It's just, everything is always fisticuffs. Like, you know, like, Ozzy, relax. I watch way too many sports and, like,
Have you
analysts and
watched,
podcasts.
speaking of, the
Yeah.
air pistol ladies competition? Okay, so, Em, you
You're
know what I'm
going-
talking about?
I've seen the videos. They just like standing like this. and
It's
that's
like
it.
a
watch
James
more of the
Bond movie.
Olympics.
They're
Yeah.
standing there, and they're in these very sleek uniforms, I guess.
Slicked back hair. They
Oh, I
look
think I did.
fantastic.
They've got a lot of makeup on.
Yeah.
And this one Korean woman.
I did see that on Twitter.
Yeji Kim, I think is her name.
I don't know her name.
She's a
Yeah.
baller.
She's very pretty, and she's standing there like target's over here, and she's looking like not at the target. She just goes
Pop.
bang, and
Yeah.
it's like she's an assassin. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Because they look like they're in the Matrix. They're wearing
Yes.
all black.
Yes.
And then it's great.
Where do they practice all this, by the way? That's all I want to know. I don't see I just see that finished product. Like, where do you go practice? They just go to this
There's
the local
shoot
range.
Yeah,
like a local
shooting
range,
clubs, right?
Yeah.
I just want to see the practice of this.
Yeah,
I feel like watching it, you feel like you can do it.
okay.
Like, you really feel like you can do
You know
it.
what's been interesting in this? How they end up doing like, all right, Netflix will do a show on the top golfers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But kind of cool.
I did that full swing, baby. Yes.
By the way, that's
Show.
how I got into that show too. You know what's been kind of cool is leading up to the Olympics, we got like a couple months of some of these unique sports where you're behind the scenes. So then we kind of know some of these people.
Okay, but I understand that, and that's logical and reasonable.
Holla at
The
your boy
reason
every
I
4
like it
years.
is because I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, what's fun to me is why I was talking with my dad the other Kirk. We were talking about the archery. Apparently, the Rogers like archery.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Dad, did you watch that archery? He's like, yeah. I said, why do they have the bowstring in their? It's literally in their mouth,
on their lip.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Like they
it's-
have this crease
to stabilize it.
I don't. That's
Yes.
This is my point. Somebody needs to tell me as I'm
Why?
watching this. The
Sure.
reason they put the bowstring against their mouth is for
Where's
this.
Katniss?
Yeah.
Where's Katniss Everdeen? They're coming over here for Hunger Games.
Get
serious.
Jennifer
I'm trying to
Lawrence
figure
to
it out.
explain to me.
And like it gives you like this little cleft chin too thing, like
And they get the little chalk
right there.
They get the chalk on their
I
chin.
mean, she had like a little
Yeah.
Band-Aid right here. I'm like,
You guys should be doing play-by-play for this.
We'd be excited about
I mean,
it.
You're
that's
more
why, that's why
like
Snoop is
inquisitive
on
than you
everything.
are like
Correct.
factual.
Yeah.
You know, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Better understanding, because now we're understanding it. Because look, I'm being real with you. I wouldn't watch it, Slee. Holler at me every 4 years. This
Yep.
is when we get excited. Like
Yep.
you just gave out the medal count. that's when I show up. When I start seeing these medals, I'm like, all right, where we at? What we doing? What we doing? What we got? USA.
Susan and I are having dinner last night, and we're sitting at the kitchen table, and we're eating our dinner, and we're chit-chatting. And she says, "Are the Olympics on?" I said, "I think they're always on."
Always on.
She goes, turn it on, and we turned it on to the archery. We were mesmerized, and we're both like, why are we watching this? And to your point, it's like because it's on once every 4 years for 15 minutes.
Yep.
And you put a flag on somebody's jersey, I'm kind of into it, right? Like
you have built-in people you root for.
Yeah, correct.
You have built-in people you root against.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. It was great. I'll text you when archery's on.
Archery's on. Let me know.
By the way, can't recommend air pistols enough.
I got to see this.
Slee, it's like a James Bond movie. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely terrific. Hot and Cold is coming up next. It's Travis Slee live from Rams training camp at LMU on 710 ESPN.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
Mason and Ireland today at 1 after Trav and Slee.
I had the best time in the Pete Carroll days when I had a sideline pass, and I would just...
Because you were down there with Will Ferrell and Snoop Dogg.
And I would just wander from one end of the field to the other and go where the action... It's such a great way. And you know the best way, my favorite way to watch a college football game is from the end zone, where you see the action coming at you. Fantastic view.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio. That's Mason and Ireland.
On 710 ESPN.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day. And smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Over 20 years ago, the first batch of Tito's handmade vodka was distilled in the heart of Austin, Texas. Since then, its roots have stayed put, and its vodka continues to be made on the same land where Tito built his dream. A distillery called Mockingbird that houses a simple vodka with a spirit the size of Texas and as good as the day it was born. Learn more about the Tito's story at Tito'sVodka.com. That's Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon.
Come on!
From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns
That's right.
to turnovers
No!
and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go!
This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
And it is Travis and Sliwa. As you know, we've welcomed the new partner here at 710 ESPN, NextGen. NextGen, the official AC, heat, and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans.
You're as cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to NextGen. Boy, time for Who's Hot, Who's Cold. Take it away, Producer M.
All right, who's hot?
Archery.
Archery, you said? No, not right now. What's hot right now is Katie Ledecky. Katie Ledecky is over 9 seconds ahead of the girl who's in second place. She's on her last 100 of her 1,500, which is the event she hasn't been beaten in any years.
You're right.
Let's be real. This isn't fair.
This isn't fair.
Like,
this is a mile.
Let's just be real.
So, guys, just letting you know, 1,500, that's a mile, basically. It's like 100 meters off of a mile.
Yeah.
And she's literally kicking butt. When you see her under the water, before this last 100, she's barely even kicking. It's all arm strength that she's just like literally pulling faster than the girls next to her. And then one of the best things about swimming a long distance event is that you get the bell on your last 100.
Right.
They ring the bell for you, and she did it. She has her gold medal in swimming for the 1,500 meter freestyle. So she's fantastic. She's what's hot.
Give me an example, Em, real quick. You're a swimming person.
Oh, also Olympic record for Katie Ledecky as well.
Congratulations to her. You're not only a swimmer, but you know sport. Give me a baseball equivalent of if she hit 50 home runs, what is the baseball equivalent
Closest
of
person?
9 seconds ahead? Is that 25?
So 9 seconds ahead in baseball, yeah. So if she hit 50 home runs, the other person hit 25, probably the best. If it's receiving yards for a game, she had 300 receiving yards in a game, and the next person had maybe 75. Like it's not even like again, they had to have that wide angle shot.
Yeah.
They had to have it so wide so they get the next person in.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Emily's saying, like, this is the time that they should have had a split screen of
Not
like
for
Ledecky by herself, and then the rest of the group.
Damn.
Like, it was that bad.
And again, just for context of how long that event was, it started at the start of our last segment. It just ended right now.
That's
That's 15 minutes straight to swimming, pretty much. And congratulations for Katie Ledecky. Maybe her last time swimming that event in the Olympics, and she has the Olympic record. And I want to say she's got like 20 of the top 20 times in this event.
Is she the greatest American swimmer of all time?
She is the greatest American long-distance swimmer of all time. I would still say that Michael Phelps is the greatest swimmer of all time because of the breadth of his events that he swam. And Katie can be beat, but she is the best long-distance swimmer in Team USA history. So
congrats to her.
Shout out to Katie, and she is from the Northern Virginia area. She's from
There you go.
Baltimore area, and I used to swim against her and her team, NCAP, when I was a kid. So me and her, about the same.
You're the same.
Basically best friends.
I get it.
Another great thing is Simone Biles' Instagram post. So yesterday, she and her team were celebrating their gold medal in team gymnastics, and they again crushed the competition. Next closest team was, I believe, Italy by 6 points was closest. So that's again like a large margin. In her Instagram post, it might have confused you if you had no idea of the context, but her Instagram post was, quote, "Lack of talent, lazy Olympic champions," and that is a response to Michaela. I'm even forgetting her name because she is irrelevant. But Michaela,
there's a Michaela out there.
No, did she not make the team?
So here's what happened. I'm going to get into the context.
Give me the tea.
So here's what happened. So Michaela has been running her mouth on various podcasts saying that the women who had made the team did not have her same work ethic, her same talent, but yet they were picked to be on the team. Again, a team of 4 out of 5 of the women representing are women of color, and that is not what Michaela is. And she decided to take a shot at the team, including using the words of lack of talent, lazy, things to refer to the women that made the team. And so Simone has gone back at her several times. And again, today, Simone realized that she's been blocked by Michaela. And again,
That's
a Michaela
terrific.
that has no influence, and she has never made the Olympic team. Yes, Michaela Skinner. Not to be confused with Michaela Maroney.
Right,
that is
right.
the silver medalist in the London Olympics who did the half smile. But Simone Biles calling her shots.
How do you call out somebody that makes the Olympic team that you don't make for being lazy and talentless? Like, I don't understand the
bitter. I
don't know.
There is no justification other than somebody trying to make noise for no reason. And oh, by the way, that of course motivates everybody else. That's a part of that.
I just saw gymnastics drama. That's all I saw.
I know. I didn't know. I didn't know there.
Yeah, so Simone pulls out the receipts, she pulls out the tea, and again, they were planning this from the moment that they knew that they were going to win because they're that talented and not lazy.
In the entire Olympics, is there anything less sincere than when those gymnasts hug each other after their routines?
What do you mean? Talking about,
Okay,
like,
if
for
they're
the
on the
other
same
team?
team and they are competing together, that's sincere.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Is
You're
it?
working as a team and you're wanting to win as a team.
I understand they want to win, but when they come off, it's the most.
Is it because the smile is so?
There's barely contact, and there's no. It's like just I have to do this because there's a TV camera on me, and just.
Do you think that women don't root for each other, Travis? Come on.
Yeah,
they're
we do.
rooting for each other.
Yes.
In the team competition, they want
I
to succeed
believe
as the team.
for the brief moment that they're competing collectively, that they're rooting for each other, but I don't think that I want to be better than you ever leave.
But they are competitors, and so, yes, they do want to be better than the other girl.
I just did love that they had under the caption was Simone Biles' husband.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Owens.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So
what are they going to say? Like, backup on the Bears? Like, what are they going to refer to him as?
Bears role player.
Bears backup safety here to celebrate his wife.
Right, exactly.
Cheer on his wife.
Yeah, as anybody else's like husband or wife would be referred to at the Olympics when the Olympian is competing. Right.
See, he got a couple days off. They let him go from Chicago.
They approved
that.
It's not like he went from Chicago to St. Louis. He went from Chicago to Paris.
Yeah.
That's not around the corner.
But it's also, he's not Caleb Williams. He clearly is dispensable.
I found out that it was in his contract, though, this week. I never knew that.
Oh, really?
Okay.
So when he signed in the offseason, he said, hey, look.
And why do you hate him?
Before I sign with
Let the backup be a
Chicago
backup.
Bears,
So
I'm going to go to Paris, by the way.
What I dislike about him is because on a podcast he went out there saying that he is the prize, that he was the one, that he that's my issue. Again, Simone is, I'm sure, happy and lovely, but that's where my issue comes with him and why I bring that to this conversation.
Okay, man. She keeps receipts.
Yes,
I do. That's hot and cold.
That's right.
Simone keeps receipts.
That's going to come back.
Hot and Cold is brought to you by Next Gen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. 833-3-NEXTGen. That's 833-3-NEXGEN or nextgenaaronplumbing.com to schedule your appointment online.
Had a lot of money on South Sudan. That's not happening.
What we got?
Why
50 to 31.
What's the
why'd
time?
you do that?
2 minutes left in the second. Do they do
They were
halves?
40-point underdogs in the first game.
Did Kevin Durant play in that first game?
No.
Kevin Durant is showing you why he's the best player in the
Oh,
NBA.
no. KD.
I'm just saying. Or
KD.
one of the. He's like, I still got
Okay,
it. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I will let y'all know that I hold my own. And
USA
You're
Olympic
mostly
is
right
perfect
about the Kevin
for
Durant
KD.
thing, but you know what else
I'm
happens?
still here.
This counts. The other one didn't. That's what this is. The other one was. Who do we play today? Yeah, cool, whatever. All right, where are we going for dinner tonight? Who gives a damn? Let's just get through this. This is the Olympics. We're playing
Wake
for
up,
real.
fellas. Yeah.
We're gonna put it on you.
They said it's like the Beatles over there for them. They're the Beatles. Like, this is the best players in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
This is like the Beatles.
In a international
Think about
sport where basketball is very, very popular in France.
LeBron,
In
Anthony
Europe.
Davis, Devin Booker. I mean, I'm just
Tatum.
Curry.
Steph, Anthony Edwards, KD, Joel Embiid. No, I mean, the list is stupid.
Quite frankly,
yeah.
That's why it's uninteresting to me.
Oh no,
Really?
you're right. No,
I understand they're those, everybody you just listed, great player. But why? And I understand that other teams also have NBA players.
Yeah,
but they don't have 12 of them.
And two of them at the most.
Because everybody didn't hyped up France. Everybody hyped up France.
And
France is going to
has
be the
some
contender.
Guys. They don't have 12 of them.
Let me tell you what would make it interesting, and this isn't happening, but let's just use the All-Star game as an example. If you go USA versus the world, that's the only way this is interesting, is if it's on one squad is Shai Gilgeous with Nikola Jokic, with Victor Wembanyama. Like, that's the only way it becomes interesting. They got every guy.
I think they tried that once, right? In the
know if
All-Star
they did.
game?
I think they
did. They try that
they
in the
did it
All-Star
for
game?
the rookie-sophomore.
Rookie game. There it is.
Yeah, the
Rookie
rookie-sophomore game.
They did it in hockey.
Yeah.
They did it where they did a North America against the world.
Okay.
So they had the Americans and the Canadians on one team and everybody else on the other team.
Who won?
I don't know. Yeah, but it was one of those things. It's like when it's an All-Star game, you go,
no, I know.
Yeah, who gives a damn?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, and that's not, the Olympics obviously matters, but it's lopsided, and when it's super lopsided like that, the only time it gets interesting is when
it doesn't go as planned.
Hey, what? Who won? Who did this?
Who won the Major League All-Star game, by the way?
The American
AL.
League, because they always win.
They do.
All right, here's one for you, Kirk. This is from Optimus Prime Rib. I want to go back very quickly. Dodgers and Padres play again tonight. So something that you
Kershaw
mentioned,
back on the mound. By the way.
You mentioned that when the Padres went to bat in the bottom of the ninth inning, even though they were trailing by 2 runs.
Correct.
They had some life. They had some bounce. Let's go do this thing. They thought they were going to win the game. With that in mind, Optimus Prime Rib. Pay attention to other dugouts when their team has a rally or does something awesome. They're hyped. They celebrate. Even in the World Series, the Dodgers never do it. There's always a fire that's missing.
Correct.
I as a baseball person, as somebody that loves baseball, that's spent a lot of time playing and all these things, you can't play baseball with your foot mashed to the gas. You can't really do it. It doesn't work for a variety of reasons. You can't try harder at bat. You can't try harder when you're on the mound. But I do believe there is something about a collective grind that everybody kind of signs up for that's a real thing. The Dodgers, they scored 5 runs in the first inning last night. They had a bunch of hits. Kevin Biggio hit a home run, 5-0, and then you can just kind of feel like, okay, we're when they fell behind to Arizona last year, when they fell behind to the Padres the year before that. Instead of this, we need to grind through it. It's like we're always waiting for, we have better players. We're just going to let the talent overwhelm you. And when it gets tight like that, that doesn't always work. You're going to need to have a little grind, and they showed none last night. None.
What was the Dodgers' mantra a couple years ago? Was it casino? Was it party? You remember when things would happen and they would throw sunflower seeds, right?
Yeah, that's their thing. They do the seeds. But
what's the thing this year? Like, what's that rallying cry? Like, what's that? Like
their rallying cry. I want to answer that. Their rallying cry is, we spent $1 billion. We have better players than you. And we're all going to come in here and we're going to do our jobs, and metaphorically we're going to punch the clock. We're going to come in. Their guys work hard. Right. They play hard, but they're that thing that the Phillies have it. Right.
Phillies do have it. Phillies actually have good
watch it like
the Padres feel like they have a little bit of it. Arizona clearly had it last year. Atlanta, I think, is missing it right now, and maybe it's an Acuna thing because he's not around.
The injuries,
that the Dodgers are so corporate. They're so professional that grind that you hunt, it doesn't feel like it's there.
I can say this from being in the NFL watching. There are some teams that I used to watch that when you watched them on TV or on film and you watched it on mute, you said, darn, those guys are having a great time. Like, even in winning, they had fun. Or even in losing, we're going to have fun doing it. And there are some teams.
Who was that team, Kirk?
He said just watching teams in general.
Oh, yeah.
If you watch the Dodger game on mute, just tell me, would you know if they're winning or losing?
Yeah.
If you watched it on mute, just no sound. Just watch a Dodger game, no sound. Are they winning? Are they losing? Is there energy? Like,
Kirk, could it be this? Every year, like Trav said, they got so much talent.
Correct.
Winning 100 games is
the expectation.
Well, it's almost not even. This is going to sound crazy. It's not really even an accomplishment. It's like, that's what they do. They win 100. They win 95 to 105 games a year, wherever they are in between. Where it's just kind of expected that it's tough to. Like, we'll use the game from yesterday. The Padres, they traded Juan Soto in the offseason. Right. The expectations were, I don't know if this team's going to make the playoffs. There is a little bit of, if we're going to make it, we all got to perform together. Where the Dodgers, I think they just literally show up, and they got a 5.5 game lead in the division, and this is the closest anybody's been to them, it seems like, in a long time, at least this far out.
Well, tonight they can say we can go to 4.5.
But this comes back to what the criticism of Friedman from the very beginning. It's the methodology of, I'm just going to have better players. We're going to make better decisions in our bullpen. We're not going to do this. We are going to do that. Over 6 months, my talent and the math, I'm going to beat you at it. I just have better guys than you. If we play 162, I have better guys. I'm going to beat you. But when it comes down to who wins the next 4 out of the next 7, who has better guys means far less. It kind of tends to go towards some of that other stuff. And I don't know that they have that. I hope Ohtani brings some of it. Oh, did you guys see him drop the F-bomb last night?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, was this
terrific.
On the call strike?
Yes. So he gets run, right?
Yeah.
And in the
little
moment,
bit low, made a caught the
in the moment, it looked like a terrible call. Yeah. And Ohtani is full count. Yep. He's up to bat, and pitch comes in, and he flips his bat, and he starts going to first base, and the umpire bangs him. And all of a sudden, he turns around, he gets rung up, and he goes, and you could read his lips perfectly. He goes, no. Yeah. And the umpire doesn't say anything. He goes, no. And he doesn't say anything. He goes, nope, no. And now he's walking back to the dugout, and they take a pretty tighter shot of his face, and he goes, duck. Only it wasn't duck. It was, and just one, and in English, I'm like,
I didn't
awesome.
catch that. I just caught the no.
Yeah.
Like, it was so matter of fact. Telling the umpire, no.
No. He said no 2 or 3 times. He said nope once, and then duck. It was terrific. And then they did the replay with the box.
Yeah.
It was a strike.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the bottom of the plate.
It was a strike. Super Crosstalk, the Dub, Quinton Lake, all coming up live from LMU. It's Rams training camp on 710 ESPN.
Mason and Ireland.
The story of the football coach, the stripper, and the monkey.
What?
Pay the
I love
most
football, strippers,
for beer.
and monkeys.
The biggest show on the radio. Today at 1 p.m.
On 710 ESPN.
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball, so almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Gottlieb.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
To the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
It's time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
So, M showed me this morning. Deshaun Foster, the head coach of the UCLA Bruins, former UCLA Bruin running back, former NFL running back.
Coaches in LA.
Had a shirt that had a map of the state of California with "We're in Los Angeles" with a little star on it.
And with Bruins colors, blue and...
You got to lean into it now. You have no choice but to lean into everything that
what did you make of it? I don't know if you've got a chance to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit.
What did you make of it?
The thing about it is you have a communications director, a PR director, and you go to him and you tell him this. Look, be quick, be precise, tell him who you are, what you want to get it done.
Yep. Excited about the conference.
Yes. I don't think he practiced it. And the thing about it is you don't understand.
He definitely did not practice it. He definitely
You
did
better
not.
hope not.
You don't understand.
That's him having practiced it?
Yeah. You don't understand what's going on until you get on that stage. So it's like, it's a press
Kirk,
conference.
what did he
Fine.
think was going to go on, though? I mean, come on. Reasonably,
Trav,
what did he think was going to happen?
The dude walked onto the stage, right?
Yeah.
And he gets onto the stage. He turned around, and it was like lights, camera, action.
Did he just freeze? Simple
For
as
people
that.
out there listening, hey, like you always watch the weigh-ins for a fight on Friday nights. That's what this was. It's the weigh-in without all the people in the background. He was by himself. You look out, and there's a sea full of people. This ain't the Pac-12 no more, my brother. This is the Big Ten. This is real football now. This is big-time football.
But
that media room had about 150-plus people looking at you
more
like,
prepared because of that?
Thank you.
Not really. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say this.
Not really is what he did.
I would say for me, I wouldn't have said much.
Other people would do.
I would have kept it simple. I would have walked out to Travis. I told you what I would have. I would have walked out there and said, hey, look.
Representing the University of California.
Hey, thank you all for being here. I'm head coach of the UCLA Bruins. I'm excited about my ball club. We're excited about the challenge in front of us. We can't wait to go against this Big Ten conference.
Let's open it up to some questions.
Any questions? That's it. Boom, you got it.
But that's I think that's the point we're making is how did he get to that where he said nothing? There was awkwardness. I'm glad he's leaning into it. I'm glad they made the shirts.
I got something.
There's nothing really else you can do.
Have you ever gave a best man speech yet or a wedding speech? Mm-hmm. And did you practice it?
Yeah, I prepared.
See, you prepared.
I did.
Now, you've also seen guys who tried to wing it.
Do you know why I prepared?
Right.
For the simple fact that I knew what was expected of me.
Correct.
I had seen one before.
Right.
I had. It's like you had dropped Deshaun Foster from Mars into this and said, hey, we play this sport called football. Go out there and tell everybody about it. What? Like, he's a football player. He's a coach. He's been around. Like, you can't tell me that he was...
He's representing the university.
Yeah. But you've been around a guy at the wedding who didn't prepare a speech.
Sure.
He goes up there and he's just like, he's about to wing it. And you know it.
He's usually hammered.
Well,
and,
I want to tell you about the groom.
That's the best one.
Tell you about the groom. Man, we go a long way back, brother, right? Remember?
Some stories I shouldn't be telling.
Remember that time in Tijuana? You know,
never tell an inside story. Never mention an ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
and it shouldn't be longer than 3 minutes.
Okay,
pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the athletic director, the SID, Deshaun Foster, somebody should have said exactly what you said. Hey, look, you don't have to talk forever. Talk for 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Hey, I don't have much to say. We're ready to play football. Any questions?
Keep it moving.
But I'm glad that he owns it, though.
He has no choice.
That's the right thing to do.
That's the right thing to own
100%. Like we said, we were talking about after we played it 100 times. It's like, look, it's now you got to own it.
Now you got
T-shirts. Got to say it is what it is.
NIL, you got all of it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel is not going to return to host the Oscars in 2025. Comedian John Mulaney was also offered the gig. He, too, turned it down. I mean, obviously, they're going to find somebody to do it. I don't understand. As a comedian, is this not like a primetime gig? Is this not a huge opportunity? I know Kimmel's done it a million times. Mulaney, I think, would be terrific at it. He's super funny. Why do they not want to do it?
I don't know.
What's the fear?
Tim, I got to revisit. What about, was it the drama with Kevin Hart? What was the drama with that?
He had
some stuff got exposed about him and then got not canceled, but like just people had an uproar, didn't want him to host anymore.
Cancel culture. Yeah.
Sure, you can put that label on it. But in general, I think, it exposes some skeletons in people's closets. Again, don't have the skeletons in closets. And then also, I think it's also, best case scenario, no one remembers who did it. Worst case scenario, you ruin your career. So I think that's the upside downside of hosting the Oscars.
Can you ruin your career? And if you go out there, I mean, I guess if you were super
Joe
obnoxious
Coy?
but is Joe Coy still...
I'm sure he's still doing shows.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could go out there and bomb.
Yeah.
But that's just a very bad
You'll
night in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot.
It's like a Big Ten presser. Bad Big Ten presser. That's enough.
I think it's just the idea that it's not what it used to be. And again, maybe it's not enough money for the amount of work that you have to do, not enough money for the amount of scrutiny you'll be underneath. John Mulaney has gone through a lot in the past 2 years. And maybe he doesn't want everybody posting about that the entirety of the time.
Yeah, but he's owned it, right? Like his entire special was, "This is my trip through rehab." I mean, that was the whole content.
And that I now have a baby with the woman I married just very soon after I got divorced.
Sometimes it happens fast, Em. Who's the judge?
His ex-wife's book, though, is coming out this month, and I will be reading it. So, Anne-Marie Tendler, I will be buying your book.
It was today, July 31st, the Walt Disney Company announced the acquisition of Cap City's ABC for $19 billion. Of course, that included ABC, ESPN and all of the affiliated properties.
There we go.
That's when we became employees of Mickey Mouse that day.
Yeah, I would say that was Walt Disney buying ESPN. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good investment.
Well, ESPN was like kind of the other part. They bought ABC, and ABC had ESPN, and then ESPN became the driver of that whole thing forever and ever. We're all going to end up working for Google and Amazon, right? That's just how this all ends out. Apple.
They're going to buy it
maybe.
out. Yep.
Right? That's how it
The
ends up.
Eastern Sports Programming Network. That's a lot of people don't know what ESPN stands for, by the way.
It was entertainment. And then they now, you know what it stands for now? This is a weird thing. Nothing. No, really.
Yeah, you're right.
They literally, like, it's not an acronym. It's just, this is our brand. It's ESPN.
And everybody knows it.
Everybody
you don't
knows
have to say anything
Do you
about
guys remember when you
I
got
had the
it
old
for the first
shirt.
time?
Yeah, I got the old shirt. It says the Eastern Sports Programming Network. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
This was like a long, long time ago.
Do you remember when you got cable for the first time? Like, you might not be old enough, Al, but I remember when cable, nobody had it, and then people started to get it. And then it would literally go street by street in your neighborhood where they would dig the trench and lay the cable. And when you got it, it was on.
Did you ever
Cinemax
go to
at 10 o'clock, brother?
What's that?
Cinemax.
It turned into Skinemax. From Cinemax
Woo,
to
memories, man. Memories right there, man. Cinemax, back in the day.
Now you
I didn't have it, but
you go to Bristol
pretty
frequently.
Probably once a year I go to Bristol.
How many times have you been to Bristol?
Never once.
Okay, so
Campus.
the only reason why I mentioned it is, there is something about going to Bristol, Connecticut.
Yep.
And there you are at the ESPN. When I first got hired, I did that rookie camp.
Yep.
So this was, 15 years ago, whenever it was. You do that rookie camp, and just you're pulling in, and you're like, damn, this is the headquarters of ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing the original Sports Center set, that stuff's kind of a trip.
Yeah.
You got to go. You got to go see it. You work for the company.
Go do a show. Go do a show from there.
I mean, if somebody invites me, I'll go.
Yeah, I'll go.
I don't know if I'm going to fund my own trip, but if somebody says, Trav, come on out and check it all out, I'll go do it.
There we go. Well.
I'll go do it. What else we got here? Mark Cuban turns 66 years old today. Very good owner, right? Like, at the end of the day, Mark Cuban is the sort of guy you want. Maybe a little forward-facing, maybe a little more famous than you might like.
Minority
Likes
owner of the Dallas Mavericks
but
now?
cares deeply about winning.
Yeah.
Cares deeply about putting a good product on the floor and making the league better. That's what he's going for, right? That's what you want in an owner.
Yeah, and he's put himself, kind of think about the Dallas Mavericks. You got a championship. Got to the NBA Finals last year.
Yeah.
He's taken some chances on some players, and you kind of respect it. It's like think about how everyone was talking about Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie settles down and finds a new home in the NBA with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm with you. That's good ownership.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what we should do right now while we wait for Quentin Lake to come by? We should do a little super crosstalk. Bonk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Woo-woo. We are on Quentin Lake watch, fellas, so we'll let you know if
big, important player in that secondary, huh?
Huge, especially with with Darius Williams having a little bit of an injury. We had Darian Kendrick is probably done for the season with his injury. So
most versatile player in that Rams secondary.
What's going on with Jonah Jackson? We heard Jonah Jackson is dinged up somehow.
Yes.
One half of Jackson and Jackson. So you have Lark Jackson on the left tackle. Jonah Jackson's the left guard. Had his arm in a little sling action. So we'll probably learn more from Sean McVay after practice when he meets the media. But this is, you spent a lot of money for Jonah Jackson.
Yeah,
that's your free agent acquisition.
So one of the things they were working on out here earlier today, guys, and we're a little far away from it to kind of see it, but they were practicing the special teams and those new kickoff rules.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be so bizarre.
Gotta get used to that.
That's going to take some getting used to.
It will take some time, yeah.
I mean, Kirk was thinking that they're just going to kick it out of bounds. That he thinks most of the teams
No,
in the
you
league
did. Then they put the ball in the 40.
Touchback.
No, touchback.
No, then they put the ball in the 40.
No, the ball goes to
On
the 40.
30.
Yeah, they're just going to kick it out of bounds.
No.
That's what I'm telling you. I mean, not out of bounds.
He's saying, Kirk, they're saying they'll put the ball at the 40 if they kick it.
If they kick
outside
it
the end zone.
touchback,
Right.
they're not going to get at the 40.
No,
So
I
I'm
think
saying touchback.
they run it out to the 35 on a touchback now.
Yes.
They're trying to
They're running
encourage
out to the 35.
kickoffs.
So they just said, I'd rather you put the ball on the 35-yard line by kicking it deep out of the back of the end zone than giving Tyreek Hill or
But what if you're playing with a team that doesn't have a Tyreek Hill? What if you're playing with a team that doesn't have a guy that terrifies you? That now you've got this weird play.
Trial and error.
By the way, I like it because somebody that kind of figures it out first, I think will have a little bit of an advantage, but it does feel like the NFL just wants this play to go away and just spot the ball and get started.
Well, if they handle it the way Kirk is talking about it, it means that I would imagine this is going to drive scoring up. If everybody kicks it out of bounds and all of a sudden you're starting possession on the 35-yard line every time you get a kickoff, I would imagine scoring is going to go up in the league, which they probably like that.
Mace, you hit it right on the head. We want to see more scoring, right? We want to see more points. This is only going to help out the points now. So you may see these astronomical numbers of a 45 to 50 football game because where the starting position will be at for the offense.
Yeah, and the other thing that they're doing is they eliminated, Kirk, the surprise onside kick. It's now illegal. You can't do it anymore.
No, you have to tell them.
You can't even do it until the fourth quarter.
You can't do it until the fourth quarter. You have to be behind, and then obviously.
And don't you have to tell them in advance? You have to say.
Well, you have to line up for it.
You have to call them 1 week in advance.
1 week in advance.
Why not do the thing that makes it that I've been advocating, and I know that it's been pitched before. It's 4th and 15 from your own 25-yard line. You get one play to pick up 15 yards.
Yeah.
If you get it, you keep moving, and if you don't, the other team takes over possession.
But you got to do it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You got to be behind. So it's UFL rules.
What's
That's
the
what they do.
downside?
There is no downside. To me, I tell you, what the big ploy is, guys, the NFL just wants to see a decrease in injuries, decrease in the head injuries, so that when it's time to talk about this 18-game season, they've got the data to prove it and show you, hey, look, injuries are down, head injuries are down, concussions are down, because that's the most violent play in sports is the kickoff.
How many times were you on teams for
I was
first part
on
of your
teams.
career?
Yes, and I hated teams.
Is it as terrifying as it looks?
It is put it like this, it is a car wreck at about 15, 20 miles per hour, just depending on how fast you are. There's some guys who can really go. But I have to stop that guy from trying to tackle my guy. It's going to be a collision unlike any other. That's what the NFL wants to stop.
Kirk.
Guys.
Go ahead, Trev.
Yeah, John, I don't mean to cut you off, but Quentin Lake is headed over.
Oh,
right
there
now.
you go.
We're going to jump
Okay.
on, so we're gonna talk with him for a few minutes, and we'll turn it over to you guys after that.
All right, have fun.
talk
We'll be
with
back
you
in
guys
a couple of
in
minutes.
just a little bit. Quentin, if we can have you on this headset right here, fantastic. We are joined right now by Rams defensive back Quentin Lake, who is joining us here after a little walkthrough. How'd it go today? How was it? Nice day out here, at least.
Yeah, the weather's been a little bit better, honestly. Cooled down a little bit. California has been pretty hot. There was like a heat wave or something, but nice weather, good cool breeze. Had a great walkthrough. So, just trying to keep that momentum going into the practices that we have and then, eventually to the season.
So what do you get done on a day like today? Obviously, it's not at full speed. There's no pads, no helmets, and those sort of things. What at the end of the day, you will have accomplished what doing stuff like this?
For us, it's really just making sure we're locking in mentally. Football is a physical game, and sometimes you need those mental resets, and that was what we did today. Just making sure we're having our alignments, going through our calls both offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Get a little bit of a rest and relaxation off our feet, and we'll hit the ground running hard tomorrow. But really today was a mental challenge, mental reset, making sure we're doing all the right things.
When do you start kind of feeling it? That competitive juice, has it already started, or you kind of pacing yourself here as you get a little bit closer to the season?
The competitive juices started day one. You kind of get a little bit anxious going into the first day, especially the first day in pads. That's when really we get into these high spirits, high competition things. For me, when it really gets high competition is the one-on-one periods. Wide receivers versus DBs, tight ends versus safeties, corners versus receivers. Those are kind of the moments that we live for because we're in those situations all the time, and it's good to go against the high-level competition that we have. But the competitive juices are flying around, and they'll be flying around tomorrow too.
UCLA, you're a safety. You come to the Rams. I say you're the most versatile defensive back that they have. You've played a little safety, a little corner, been in the box, out of the box. that was all under Raheem Morris. Chris Shula, how is Chris Shula using Quentin Lake in this defense?
I would say, similar. I credit myself on being a versatile player. So no matter what, whether it's, playing in the box, whether it's playing deep, whether it's, playing man-to-man or in zone, I feel like me studying the playbook and kind of learning all those different positions has helped me, and it's kind of similar transition. So the transition hasn't really been too much. It's been pretty seamless, pretty flawless, and Coach Shula has done an amazing job, leaning on me and leaning on other guys to, make sure we're leading the defense and really just putting us in the right position to make plays.
Rams defensive back Quentin Lake joining us here on the Trav and Slee Show. So with you being as versatile as you are, being able to do the things that Kirk mentioned, obviously, there's been some injuries in camp already. Yeah. I mean, Darian Kendrick is down with a serious injury. He will most likely miss the entirety of the season. Darius Williams down right now for the time being. Does your focus shift, or are you still trying to get enough reps at enough different things so when it comes time to be able to do all those things, or, hey, they're going to need me over here, I need to concentrate more on that particular assignment?
I think, if the coaches tell you, hey, you need to focus on one thing, then that's what you do. As of right now, nothing has really changed for myself. But obviously, we need some other guys to step up and fill those positions where we're lacking or where we're missing, with the guys that are down. And I think they've done a great job. Guys have stepped in. They've made the most out of their opportunities, and that's what we like to see. Obviously, we have a ton more practices to go in training camp. But the guys have done a great job. And it's really on me to kind of bring him with me, a guy that's been in the system a long time, has had experience playing at a high level. Have these guys gain their confidence because, especially at the defensive back position, it's all about confidence.
Obviously, there's no replacing Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
But defensively as a unit, how much do you guys approach this season understanding that one of the greats to ever do it is no longer there, but you guys collectively, how do you guys kind of see this as an opportunity, a challenge that you guys are embracing?
Yeah. It's really just coming together as a squadron, especially on the defensive side. I mean, obviously, everybody's talked about it. Aaron Donald leaving, how are you going to address that? He's gone. And at this point, it's, the guys that we brought in to, fill his role, are they stepping up to, embrace that challenge? And I think they've done a great job. We've looked at, rookies that we have, and Kobe Turner. Last year, he had a really good season, looking to, lead that defensive front this year. And then guys that we brought in, both Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, they've done a fantastic job in camp, and obviously I understand they're fantastic players. So obviously you can't fill Aaron Donald's role. No one's saying to do that, but how can we work so well as 11 on defense to make sure that we're one of the top defenses? And that's exactly what we're trying to do during this training camp. And I think, the couple practices that we have recently have really showed that, we can, do really well. We're coming together as a unit. We're making the right calls. We're playing hard, playing with a lot of great effort. So I'm really excited, when it comes to week one against the Lions. I think, people are really going to look at, how will this Rams defense do without Aaron Donald? And, I think we're going to do a great job.
Bear with me for a little bit, okay? Because the great LeBron James plays for the Lakers. The Lakers drafted his son, Bronny James.
Yeah.
So you've got that going.
Yeah.
Your dad played in the Super Bowl, the great Cornell Lake.
Imagine if I played with him.
If you played,
that's
that's my question.
Yeah.
If you played with your dad, especially on that Steelers team where Rod was
unstoppable two-person tandem.
Who's playing free safety? Who's playing strong safety?
Right.
Where would you play in that secondary
okay.
if you played with your dad, who played in the NFL for a long time?
So if it were up to me, I'm going to have my dad play free safety. I'm going to play strong safety. The reason why I say that is, so my dad's a little bit bigger than me in terms of, weight. So he's probably like 205. I'm like 200 pounds. But he ran the second fastest combine time behind Deion Sanders when he was coming out. Yes. So I'm going to put him back there so he can go. He is fast. He was faster than me. Now he's not faster than me now. He was faster than me. But I'm going to put him back, and it was different back then. You got, you got two backs. You have full backs, was a prime position. So I'm going to put him back there, just be the single high safety, go sideline to sideline. I'll be in the box. If you need to cover somebody, I'll be that guy too. So, but really, if you really think about it, we could be interchangeable, but I really would have him back there being a ball.
Quentin Lake joining us here on Travis and Slee, of course, the son of Cornell Lake, as Kirk mentioned. Speaking of UCLA, your dad a Bruin as well.
Look at that.
What about the transition to the Big Ten? You look at, obviously, college football is just going to be so different this year for a million different reasons, but it's going to be weird seeing the Bruins, seeing SC, seeing Oregon, Washington in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's a money thing, but the reason why I wasn't really happy with it, you come off one of the most competitive seasons that the Pac-12 had in terms of how many teams were in the top 25, and then you have Washington, who, correct me if I'm wrong, they went all the way.
Yeah.
They went to the national championship. Unfortunately, they lost, but to go from a super competitive conference where you have all these teams in the Pac-12 and it was good football. I watched a couple games myself. It was really good football that was played. To then go to the Big Ten, and then it's especially with the players, you got to go every other week, travel 5 hours,
Right.
and then if you're a California kid like I was, I potentially had to play in the snow. It's the conditions that you're not really thinking of, like, oh, Big Ten, we get to play against Penn State, Ohio State, all that stuff, but then you have to think about, oh, I might be playing in the snow, I might be playing in terrible weather conditions. So I'm not a fan of it. I love the Pac-12. Obviously, I played in it, but, hopefully what it looks like is, it might turn out to be a really good thing. Obviously, it's a really competitive conference now with all the teams that joined in it. But, yeah, I'm rooting for my Bruins, this year and this season. Hopefully they do well in that conference, and, we'll see what happens. But
what'd you make your coach's press conference?
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. I think this is what I say.
Yeah.
This is what I say. His PR team let him down.
Oh, no.
His PR team
It's a little bit. Yeah,
His
kind of had a little bit of that. Yeah.
His PR team let him down. I don't know if he's I don't really know if he was an interview guy. But he could have went. I do now. But he could have went up there and said, "Hey, I'm super excited to join this really simple, competitive conference. Looking for our team to compete. Any questions and get up out of there." And that's
I know. Last question for me. I know you had it a couple weeks ago, but tell me about the Q Lake, the football camp. I'm gonna get the boys out next time.
Please
camp.
do.
But for people in Southern California, tell them about the Q Lake camp.
Yeah. So not too long ago, July 20th, I had a football camp at my alumni in high school.
Yeah, let them know. Let everybody know.
Modern Day High School.
There you go.
Had about 100 kids.
It's okay to say you went to Modern Day.
Yeah, I love it. Of course. But had a football camp. Had about 100 kids come out there. For me, using my platform, it's a big thing to be able to, teach the game and have these kids have fun, especially with myself as a role model to the younger generation. So, it was great. I had a bunch of coaches, had some other teammates of mine. My dad ended up coming out too, so that was fantastic. And hoping to see, a lot more kids next year for our 3rd annual camp. But, it was awesome. If there's any listeners out there that have kids around the younger ages, come out. We'll have a blast. Bring your kids out, and it'll be a good time.
Quentin, one last one for you before we let you go. We're talking with Quentin Lake, Rams defensive back. What do you think? And I think everybody's just kind of guessing, and I've heard kickers talk about it, coaches talk about it. What is the new kickoff rule going to look like? Like, is it going to look super weird? Is it something we'll get used to? Is it not? I mean, what are your expectations?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I will say that because honestly, if the returner hits one seam, it's out of there.
Correct.
It really will be. So kickoff is really going to be a prominent play, and you're, like everybody, how sometimes if you go to the game, you're not even worried about the kickoff. You're just waiting for the offense and defense to get on the field. But this time, when you get there, that first play is going to be, it might be roaring in the stadium because it could really go, the whole distance. So really, it depends on, and now you can use O lineman and D lineman, depending on what you want to do. You could have a down and around. There's so many different things that you can do now with it. So I'm excited for it. Obviously, we're going to scheme it up over here and make sure that, whether we're on the kickoff team, making sure, we're getting the returner down, or if we're on the kickoff return team, making sure, we hit that home run ball. But, I'm excited for it. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be different, that's for sure.
It's going to be different.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
Quentin Lake, Rams defensive back, joining us here on Travis. Quentin, appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having me on.
All right, we're going to turn it over to John and Steve. The Mason and Ireland is coming up next. Al and I'll see you tomorrow. Super Crosstalk brought to you by
710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app. This fall, the new home of the USC Trojans.
The new home